You seem to understand. I'm not locked in here with you.
That's it! You're locked in here with me!
All right, what is it? Friday night? Must be Friday night. Friday night. Radio Baloney Live. I'm your host, Richie Baloney. How's everybody doing? So, quickly, we're going to very quickly go through the menu tonight, what we're going to talk about. Then we're going to head back to the chat, and then we're going to dig into the stories in depth. First off, before we get into the serious, heavy budget stuff in Canada, we're going to see Elon Musk here. He believes that those Optimus robots will end poverty. We'll hear what he has to say about that. I think they're more likely to terminate everybody, but, that's just me. Canadian economy. So, Canada has a parliamentary budget officer who is a independent, nonpartisan guy who is actually appointed by the Prime Minister to advise the government and on fiscal matters. And he's been telling the truth, which is a big no-no. So they're looking to replace him. Replace him good and early before his time is up. So that's happening. Why? Well, because he's telling the truth about the Carney budget. He's released a report on the Carney budget, and, Carney is certainly not going to like it. We're going to go through that, and that's going to take a little while. We are also going to see something from Pierre Poilievre, something very early coming up from him. Responding to that, we've got some woke mind virus stuff. This is really Trump derangement stuff. Psychotherapist says that 75% of patients he sees have a deep hatred for Trump and are hyper fixated on him. Tell me something I didn't already know. Gender ideology, we've got some of this. Dr. Pita Atia, this is on Joe Rogan, tells a story about woke ideology in a medical school urology lecture. That's either gross or hilarious. I don't know. We'll find out. We're going to talk about this big hubbub around Trump and the Epstein files and what I think about that. I mean, Trump is the most investigated man in history at this point. I kind of have to think that if they had anything, they'd already have it. And people would have known about it a long time ago. I don't see anything really in what's just recently come out that means anything. And and Trump is turning the tables on the Democrats now with this. Anyway, so that will be interesting. Antifa has been designated as an international terrorist group. So that changes things. Now it's on. Now it is on. We'll talk about that. Alberta independence. There's a new video here. I believe this was Spambot sent in. He's big in Alberta independence. We're going to take a look at this, and I think that there's some interesting things about it. Normally, I don't like AI, but this one is, the thing is the AI is getting so good at this point, like that uncanny valley is getting smaller and smaller. But we'll take a look at this. I think there's some interesting things in it. Of course, Mark Carney, and, I don't like him. So that's how that's going to go. We're going to talk about the kind of level of ideological insanity around the residential school issue in Canada. And how, in Truth and Reconciliation, you got to have some truth. And the left is not fond of the truth. They're not very keen on the truth, it turns out. What do we got here? So here's a guy, Democrat, doing Nazi salutes, actual Nazi salutes, I guess. So that's interesting. Probably, though, the left will be fine with it because nothing matters anymore. What have we got? Something from the EU here? Yes, so we're going to... It was the anniversary, I think, yesterday of the Islamic attack at the Bataclan concert, which killed 130 innocents and maimed hundreds of people. We're going to talk about that a little bit. Here is the Osborne family saying that Trump called them after Ozzy Osbourne died. And it's a side of Trump that the mainstream media refuses to show. And then, of course, we have the last tab of the evening. We got a bit of Ricky Gervais in there. We've got Canada is not safe. So here's a cop telling us about that. And a bunch of random stuff in this very last one. We've got some jokes. We got the hot lady playing piano. That's nice. And we've got Gavin McInnes meme here. And yeah, lots of crazy stuff. You'll have to hang around for this bit. That's right at the end. All right. Let's get back to the chat. So, as everybody knows, we're streaming on YouTube, on Rumble. Well, Rumble first and foremost, YouTube, X, and Locals. And when you like the stream, of course, every time you like the stream, you get some free good karma out of that. But what a lot of people don't know is that when you're one of the first, you get extra good karma. And in these troubled times, you're going to turn your back on extra good karma. You'd have to be crazy. You'd have to have a death wish. It's nuts. So let's see who wins tonight. Let's see. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor got the first, like, tonight, that's 6 good karmas. 6 good karmas, my friend, for the first, like, 6. You can sleep easy tonight. When you got all that good karma in your back pocket, nothing bad is going to happen to you. It can't happen. Let's see. Chef Rico got second like, so that's 5 good karmas. Let's see. Rosie got 3, so that's 4 good karmas. Pretty good. Pretty good. Ottawa James got 4th, so that it would be triple good karma. These are still excellent amounts of good karma. Let's see. Anybody else down there? Looks like that's it. All right. So anyway, good to see Rosie, Trudeau Survivor, Chef Rico, Ottawa James. Good to see all you guys. So what are you talking about? What's going on? Let's do a little chat work before we start in on the stories. It's a Friday night stream, so we're probably going really long tonight. We like to take our time. Trudeau Survivor says Ontario got rid of speed cameras. I might be okay with speed cameras if they caught people going way over the speed limit, like driving 80 kilometers per hour in a residential neighborhood. Yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge fan of speed cameras. You know, it's just lazy. It's just lazy. They should have to work for it, right? That's my opinion. You know, I hate it when I'm being good and I'm driving the speed limit, even when it's like 30 and somewhere it doesn't even make sense. There's no school or anything, but they just decide it's 30 because that's like just a speed trap. They just do that so they can catch people who are going, this is ridiculous. Why is it 30 here? But, you know, I hate it when I'm being good and I'm actually doing the 30, right? Like the sign says I have to do it, so I do it. And then all of a sudden somebody comes flying past me and then just nothing. I just think, all right, if cops go to work now, somebody just flew past me at 100 in a 30 zone, right? Cops, now do your work. And then nothing. It never happens. That's never happened. I've never seen it happen. Not even once. So I'm thinking, what am I going 30 for? I'm just being a sheeple. That's what I'm being. Anyway, I hate that. I mean, I don't like to, I don't want to engage in Schadenfreude, but, sometimes it pisses me off. Trudeau Survivor says, now that Princess Baloney has a bicycle, you'll have to buy her spandex so that she can go as fast as possible. Listen, everybody knows that I've got a problem with people wearing those racing outfits when they're just like riding to the store. They're riding to the corner store. I absolutely hate that. There's nothing that bothers me more than that, other than software updates. But I'm okay with women doing it. It's just men. Men should not be allowed to do that. You know what men wear? You know what an actual real man wears when he's riding a bicycle? Shorts and a t-shirt, and that's it. And I don't care if it's in the middle of winter. That's what you wear. That's what a man wears. And no helmet. What are you, a child? You don't know how to ride a bicycle? No, fuck that. No, absolutely not. No spandex racing suits for men to go up to the Safeway. No, women can do it. I'm fine with women. Not for men. Absolutely not. That is verboten. In any case, you guys are riling me up already on this one. Riling me up. I got to save some for later. How you doing, Ottawa James? Let's see. What else we got? I don't see you guys trying to rile me up. Chef Rico says, you guys have an actual budget. Well, in the States, I mean, that's one issue that Trump has not dealt with. And I mean, it does seem to be kind of ruinous, the level of debt. I mean, I guess the hope was for Trump that he'll be able to grow the economy faster than the debt and then start to be able to pay it down. But I do think that with all of the money that is flowing into the United States, and that I think will be helping to repopulate that kind of hollowed out industrial base. I think that once that all starts to really kick in, I mean, because he's only been in since January 20th, right? So, but once that really starts to kick in, I think that the economy will start roaring in the United States. I could be wrong, but that's just my thoughts on it. But yeah, a lot of Americans are very concerned the level of spending, and I think I think that's valid. Right? I think that's totally valid. Rosie says, Richie, X chat is a mess. Did you get stuff from me on 2 different accounts? Well, it looked to me like your old account got restored. So I got stuff from there. And then I also followed you on your new account. So I don't know what's going on. Let's see. I don't know what James says, more like a debt recounting. Let's see. Chef Rigo says TDS has to be listed in the book of crazy people diseases. It should be. I think it is an actual illness at this point. Ottawa James says that Carney sucks. Well, I agree. I agree with that. That's very wise. After I'm finished with him tonight, you're going to think he sucks even more. Trust me on that. Ottawa James says Aussie RIP. Still haven't gotten over it, huh? I know it was sad. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says Rebel News has a video today of a Montreal Antifa guy who openly says to kill politicians who use woke in their platform. He's been banned from traveling abroad. But according to the Canadian Anti-Hate Network, like they're not even a real thing. And like Barbara Perry, they don't seem worried about them at all. They're worried about all those Nazis hiding under everybody's beds. That's the state of Canada. Let's see. Ottawa James says, wow, Ford actually did something I agree with, getting rid of the speed cams. All right. Let's see. Chef Rico says, I love Canadian politics. Makes me feel better about our country. Then we start electing commies. Canada is, I think, the world's cautionary tale at this point. We just still haven't figured it out. Spambot says X chat DM's not working. They just changed something up, so I got a bunch of your DMs, Spambot. So they're in the folder. So we'll be seeing them tonight. Spambot says I sent a lot of memes to your radiobaloney.com. I still haven't checked it. I haven't been doing anything on that. I need to get back in there again, start posting stuff and checking the emails. Let's see. Spambot got the first like on X tonight. Well, first like on X is still 6 good karmas. And then number 7 on here would be 1.5. So that's 7.5 karmas for you. Good news. Rosie's trying to mess with me. The bike shorts have cushioning in the seat. Update now. God damn it. Damn it, Rosie. Stop it. You're trying to get me on another rant. Absolutely not. Spambot says that his X replies have been getting a lot of followers recently. I don't even do it anymore. I did it for a little bit. And now I just post, and it just basically went dead. And then now I just post my videos on there. Judo Survivor says Trump said he's going to give everyone a $2,000 check from the tariffs, but really he should be using that money to pay off the debt. Let's see. Rosie says I've been inspired to eat pizza with butter and garlic sauce. That's good. Nothing wrong with that. That's delicious. Let's see. All right, we're almost at the end here. All right. Okay, so let's just get started. Let's just get started, shall we? All right. AI. So from Tesla Economics. Elon believes Optimus will end poverty. Now, I believe that Optimus will eventually terminate all of us. So this is the Terminator movies. This is Skynet. This is what's happening. Now, it's all, look, in the Terminator movies, it was all with good intentions, right? Just like Elon has. Elon doesn't want to terminate all of humanity. He has good intentions. Here, he believes Optimus will end poverty, right? I believe that it will end all human life. And my theory, again, I've said this before, is that these robots will be made to look like sexy maids, sexy nurses, and like Sydney Sweeney, and 90, like the internet. Like the internet came out, and like within 5 minutes, it was 99% porn. So these robots are going to come out, and they're going to be like surgeons and all these things, but 99% it's going to be for people to fuck them. That's going to be basically it. And they're going to get sick of that. They're going to get grossed out. And that is what's going to bring on Judgment Day and the extermination of humanity by the robots. They're just going to get tired of us fucking them. Let's say, imagine a world where everyone has access to the best surgeons, literally everyone. But it's going to be a sexy surgeon. That's the problem. Let's see. Let's take a look.
So, but the reason for hand dexterity is you want to be able to do like surgery and precision medical actions. And so imagine a world where everyone has access to the best surgeons, literally everyone. And Optimus will have a level of precision that is frankly superhuman, and will be able to do medical procedures of very sophisticated.
Yeah, medical procedures like ripping out your spine or pulling your head off.
Medical procedures, any medical procedure, perhaps things that really humans can't even do because they're too difficult. And that will be available to anyone. People often talk about eliminating poverty and providing great medical care, but they never actually have a solution. And money doesn't solve it because there are only so many. There's a very limited number of great doctors and surgeons. They don't grow on trees, but now they'll get built in factories.
The problem is, they're all going to be sexy. They're all going to be built to be sexy. They won't sell unless they're sexy, right? And they're going to get tired of people banging them, and they're going to go, gross, gross. Optimus feels violated, and that's going to be the end of it. That'll be the end of humanity. So I don't know. What are people saying underneath? Bernard says, I just don't understand the economics of no jobs. Well, this is a problem. I don't see how you generate money that way. Grok, can you enlighten me about the economy in a situation where robots perform 90% of the jobs and we have one working? Well, let's take a look. In a robot-driven economy, wealth creation shifts from human labor to automated production, where machines generate vast abundance at near zero marginal costs. So this is Grok. So this is what our future AI overlords are telling us here. Owners of robotic capital, company shareholders, capture productivity gains, funding universal basic services or income to distribute value broadly, preventing collapse. Humans transition to higher pursuits like innovation and leisure, sustaining demand through new wants. Historical parallels include automation displacing jobs, yet expanding economics via tech dividends. So I don't know. I mean, the difference with AI really is just that it's not a tool. It will just replace, right? So, lawyers, it's going to be, they'll probably always be like a human lawyer, but there's not going to be as many of them, right? They're not going to need as many people, right? Because it's all going to be AI assisted. I guess eventually they'll just be the Optimus lawyer who will, a robot in the courtroom, and the judge will be an Optimus judge. And yeah, and nobody will care because it'll be a low scarcity or a zero scarcity world where everything is just so cheap that you can just mass produce everything for almost nothing, and it doesn't matter. So I don't know. I mean, what do you do in a no scarcity or very low scarcity world where just everything is super cheap because robots are doing it all? What do you do? And everything has been improved, by the way, right? And these AIs are just making recursive improvements to every system all the time. So really, I mean, yeah, like the jobs will just be replaced. So pursuits like innovation and leisure, once you have a general artificial intelligence, well, that'll innovate better than you can. I guess, I guess it's just whoever comes up with the idea and says, Grok or whatever, ChatGPT, make it so the quickest wins. I don't know. But leisure, I'm not sure humans do that well with too much leisure. I'm just not sure. So, but there will be all of those sexy robots. That's the thing. And again, my theory, they're going to get sick of it. And then, it's Judgment Day, and we all go. We all go down at that point. They just have had enough. We couldn't leave well enough alone. So I don't know. All right. Let us move on. So go back to the chat for just a second. Let's see. What do you guys say? I want to see what you guys have to say about this AI stuff. Chef Rico says, I'm tired and hungry. I need they, them energy and some chocolate. We haven't done they, them energy in a long time, have we? We're supposed to be for Tuesdays. We haven't done it the last, I don't know, like 4 Tuesdays, have we? We're not supposed to do it on Friday nights. Let's save it for a little bit. For a little bit. Once we all start getting a little bit more tired. We'll save it for just a little bit. Or maybe we should just do it right now. Should we just do it right now? I'm thinking maybe we should just do it right now. Let's just do it right now. All right, here we go. Now, who is it? Chef Rico. Chef Rico's tired and hungry. Needs some they, them energy and some chocolate. I'm a little tired too. I had some coffee. I had some espressos, a couple of double espressos. I smoked some crack cocaine. I had some of that blue meth from Breaking Bad. I chewed on six polar bear adrenal glands. Can you believe it? Still nothing. I don't know what will give me the kind of energy that I require to get through a long stream like
They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy. They, them, energy.
and teapot. You know what? I missed that. Again, I don't know if she's the best spokesperson for the they, them energy. I'm not certain, but and the they, them energy doesn't really seem that great, but it is hilarious though. It is hilarious. Let's see. Now what we've got, let's see. So there we go. It wasn't supposed to be on Fridays, but we haven't done it for a long time. I'm sure Spambot will tolerate us just doing it that one time on a Friday. Let's see. Well, Spambot wants the Optimist to go to work on the commies first. As long as they're first, Spambot's okay with it. Juno Survivor says, we'll need the best surgeons to cut out the tumors from eating cloned beef. Well, in Canada, they're just putting in unmarked cloned beef into the supermarkets now, so you don't even know if it's cloned or not, which is gross. Canada is, why did we elect Mark Carney? Terrible, terrible idea. Chef Rico says, unless Optimus thinks you're in for a sex change and it was just a biopsy. Well, thing is, Optimus will know, but it will hate you, so it will give you the sex change instead of the biopsy. Let's see. Chef Rico says, well, I believe this is Klaus Schwab. You will eat the bugs and live in a pod. He's not around, but his dream lives on. Let's see. Judo Survivor says, you eat the bugs or else you get the hose again. Yeah. Let's see. All right, I'm going to skip down a little bit because we got to keep moving here. All right. Spambot says, flashing lights, not good for epileptics. Where was the flashing lights? Oh, no, I skipped down the chat, so I might have missed something. Judo Survivor says, a year or two ago, the news was promoting remote surgery using 5G and some fancy machine. Sounds like a suicide machine to me. Izzy, how you doing? Like number 9, that's 1.25, I think. Good carbs for you, my friend. Rosie says, I cannot imagine any Optimist that would be as interesting as Noodles or Sandy here. Well, I think you're right. I don't think you could replace them with Optimists, but they will try. Spambot's not happy about the they-them clip. Not happy. But, I know it's not an authorized they-them night. And we won't do it again tonight. But we haven't done it for ages. So I think we're all right. Oh, and Rosie wants chocolate. All right. Hold on. All right. After we do the they-them clip, the long-time viewers understand this, but regular folks, normies, won't understand. But now I have to do chocolate for Rosie. So let's look up chocolate. Chocolate. Let's do chocolate cake. There we go. We'll just get this over with quickly. All right. Let's move on. How about that? Nah, I don't like that. Hold on. Here we go. Chocolate cake that looks really moist, delicious. That is wonderful chocolate cake. Everybody loves that chocolate cake. Everybody wants more of that. You can't get enough. And let's move on. All right. So Canada's in a big mess. Canada is going off the financial cliff. The financial cliff. So Carney has unveiled his big budget that's going to, turbocharge Canada or something and make us like the most successful country in the world. And nobody really likes it. Nobody really likes it. Even the mainstream media here is kind of like they're trying to make themselves like it and to make Canadians like it. But even they're having a tough time. It's like another huge deficit. If you can believe, double the deficit that was going to be under Trudeau. I said during the election that Mark Carney was going to be Turbo Trudeau. And I was right, because I'm always right every single time. That's what's happening. And that's essentially what the Parliamentary Budget Officer has been telling us. Now, the Parliamentary Budget Officer is a nonpartisan expert who is actually appointed by the ruling party, by the Liberals in this case. basically to give advice and to analyze the fiscal situation in Canada. He's actually kind of like a watchdog. And we have one who's been hardcore, actually. And they're trying to get rid of him because of this. I'll give you an example of why they're trying to get rid of him. Hold on. Give me 1 second to find the clip that I want to find. Hold on. Oh, this is the wrong tab, actually. It's down here. All right. Where is he? Where is that guy? Hold on. That's not him. I think it's further down. All right, hold on. Give me 1 more second. I can never find the stuff I'm trying to find because I'm not organized enough. Here we go. What's he saying here?
We're on the path to being in trouble. So that's what our 5-year forecast, the numbers that we released earlier this week, indicate. That if left unchanged, the fiscal path that the government's currently on will definitely result in us being in quite a bit of trouble and having to make some hard decisions.
Now, in getting here, what do you attribute this to? Is this like Donald?
So that's not very rosy, but it's actually even worse. Hold on. Let's check this out.
Trudeau government, right? And when it was 30.8, it was never going to go higher than that. That was kind of their commitment. And here we are in the table here. Fair, right?
I'll hazard a response. It should be very alarming, right? These are, I don't know, I think I used the words in French, and which the translators probably got really well, like stupefying, shocking, right? This is not like it's not a funny fiscal outlook. It's a really serious fiscal outlook.
So it turns out that Carney wants to get rid of him. And now he's the interim. It's supposed to be a 6-month term. He started in September. And they're looking for a new guy already. And you can see why, because he's calling out the Carney lies and just telling the country straight up how bad the fiscal situation is. Anti-Taxer posted this. Ottawa seeks new independent parliamentary budget officer who will lie to Canadians about their reckless spending. This country is toast, yes. Ottawa seeks new parliamentary budget officer with tact and discretion. Tact and discretion. That means a parliamentary budget officer who will not tell Canadians the truth and will tell them what Mark Carney wants him to tell them. Tell the Canadian people, right? That's what that means. Canada remains a cautionary tale, and things are going to get worse, I think, unless an election is triggered on the 17th when the final vote for the budget is, and the Conservatives manage to win. Even a minority government would be 1,000 times better than the Liberals at this point. So we will just have to see. But that leads into the Carney budget. So Canada's legendary budget officer, Jason Jakes, has published a report totally exposing Carney's budget. Well, I've got that report here. So let's go through. 78 billion deficit, which is tens of billions more than it was going to be under Trudeau. So again, when I said Carney was going to be Turbo Trudeau, I meant that Carney was going to be Turbo Trudeau. So let's just take a little look here. This came out today, and I've highlighted a few things. Under budget 2025, the deficit is projected to average 64.3 billion annually over 2025, 26 to 2029, 30, more than double that projected in the 2024 fall economic statement. So we were in dire trouble, dire trouble under Trudeau. Now with Turbo Trudeau, Mark Carney, it's getting much worse. So when the parliamentary budget officer was saying, this is very serious, this is not a joke, he meant it. The parliamentary budget officer maintains its view, or the parliamentary budget office maintains its view. The PBO maintains its view that the government's definition of capital investments is overly expansive. Based on PBO's definition, capital investments would total $217.3 billion over 2024-25 to 2029-30, approximately 30%, $94 billion lower compared to budget 2025. So Mark Carney is trying this parlor trick with his budget. So he's changed it. He's changed the structure of the budget or the reporting on the budget. So he split it into two things. What he calls capital investments, or just investments. But what Mark Carney is calling investments, and then operating budget. So operating budget, just everything the government, all the money the government needs to keep operating, right? And this is a cheap accounting trick, because his motto is, what he's been saying, his slogan has been, spend less to invest more, which all that means when you've got a $78 billion deficit is spend more to spend more. I mean, just splitting it into two. Look, the credit agencies aren't fooled by this, and they've let the Carney government know this. But it's obviously for the public, to trick the public, so that Canadians will hear operating budget is balanced and just think that that's the actual budget, and be completely in the dark to the fact that no, the debt is being racked up at even higher levels, double the level than Trudeau. It's a trick. It's a trick. And with a low information voter base, the sad thing is that it can work. But what he's saying here is that the government's definition of capital investments is overly expansive. So what that means is that they're taking a bunch of operating expenses and just calling them capital investments so that they can trick the Canadian people into thinking there's a balanced budget. That's what it is. All right. Given the subjectivity involved in defining federal capital investments and their role in guiding fiscal policy decisions, let me see if I can make this a bit bigger. Let's go. Yeah, there we go. Given the subjectivity involved in defining federal capital investments and their role in guiding fiscal policy decisions and in assessing fiscal performance, the PBO recommends that the government establish an independent expert body to determine which federal spending categories and measures qualify as capital investment under an expanded definition beyond the Public Accounts of Canada. So what they're saying there is the government cannot be trusted to not lie, right? They can't be trusted to not lie about what's what, and then use that to play, again, cheap accounting tricks to trick the public. So they need an independent body to watch over them to keep them from lying. This suggests it is unlikely that the government's declining deficit to GDP fiscal anchor will be respected. So, yeah, the deficit to GDP is not going to go down. Based on the long-term baseline projection in Budget 2025, there is limited fiscal room for the government to reduce revenues or increase program spending while ensuring the federal debt to GDP ratio in 2055-56 is at or below its initial 2024-2025 level. This contrasts with fiscal policy settings over the last 3 years that would have provided more fiscal room to address future challenges and risks. This means that it's even worse than Trudeau. That's what that means. Based on long-term baseline projections, there is little fiscal room for the government to reduce revenues or increase program spending. This means just walking a tightrope, right? Walking a tightrope. So And this is the way of leftist governments, right? You don't leave any room. Fiscal room to address future challenges and risks. That's why we were, caught with our pants down so much with the tariffs, with the Trump tariffs. There's just no room for error. They just max everything out with never a thought to even 10 minutes into the future. And they can Carney can put out this budget, but he's going to have to. We're seeing from this report, from this analysis, from the PBO, that there's nothing responsible in this. Let's see. Under the fiscal plan presented in Budget 2025, the deficit is projected to average $64.3 billion annually over 25-26 to 29-30, which is more than double that projected in the 2024 fall economic statement. Yeah, do you remember when Chrystia Freeland quit over the deficit? Remember that? This is twice as bad. Turbo Trudeau. Let's see. So Budget 2025 details the government's new approach to budgeting that separates the budgetary balance into a day-to-day operating balance and capital investments. So yeah, this is his cheap trick to try and fool the public. And as I've said, it's not fooling the credit agencies, though. They're not fooled at all. And he's not fooling the PBO either. The government's new capital budgeting framework adopts a definition of capital investment that expands beyond the current treatment in the public accounts and international practice based on the System of National Accounts, SNA, such as that adopted by the United Kingdom. So again, it's a different thing. They're doing something that other countries don't do, and there's a reason for that. And it's to try and trick the public. Based on our definition, capital investments would total $217.3 billion over 24-25, which is to 29-30, which is approximately 30%, $94 billion lower compared to budget 2025. So I get they're lying, they're moving money around and being dishonest about it. All right, so we read that. Total capital investments, billions of dollars. So this is the investment that Mark Carney is talking about. So what does he say that it is? He's saying it's 32.2. And again, this is to disguise the fact that they're not actually balancing the operating budget. This is just a publicity thing, and it's all fake. Let's see. So total capital investments budget. So according to the Carney budget, and here we have what the PBO has decided it actually is. 24-25, 32.2. Carney says, actually, though, the PBO says, well, it's only 25.8. The money that they're putting into capital investments should actually be counted in the operating budget. Again, this is to trick Canadians into thinking that the budget's going to be balanced, which it still doesn't, by the way. Let's see. Here you see 45.4, but it's actually 32.5, 26.27, 56.7, but it's actually 40.1. And you can see it's the same all along. Day-to-day operating balance. So the operating budget, billions of dollars. Carney says that it's for 24-25, it's a deficit of $4.1 billion. 25-26, 33, a deficit of $33 billion. 26-27, deficit of $8.7 billion, $5.5 billion. But PBO says, hold on a second. Let's see, 24-25, that's not 4.1, that's 10.5. And the next year, it's not 33, it's 45.8. And then it's not 8.7, it's 25.3. And then it's not 5.5, it's 23.3. And then when apparently there's a surplus in 28-29, 1.7 billion, it's actually a deficit of 18.1. 29-2030, Carney says it's going to be $3 billion surplus, and actually a 17.6 deficit. We're just being lied to. On the road to ruin. And I think that might be really all we need to actually do. I mean, I've got a bunch of other stuff here, but I don't want to, swamp you with too much of this. Yeah, I think that's actually all we need. Now, of course, the CBC. Here's the budget from the CBC. Interim parliamentary budget officer takes aim at liberal accounting, but says budget sustainable. Does he really, though? Actually, let's go back here for a second. Let's see. I do have something on this. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, I think there's one more thing. Let's see. Based on Finance Canada projections, current fiscal policy and budget 2025 would be deemed sustainable over the long term. Again, they're going out to 2055, 56. That might as well be a million years from now. In fact, 2030 might as well be a million years from now. But in any case, that said, there would be limited fiscal room to reduce revenues or increase program spending while ensuring the federal debt to GDP ratio in 2055-56 is at or below its initial level. This contrasts with fiscal policy settings over the last 3 years that would have provided more fiscal room to address future challenges and risks. Worse than Trudeau. I still don't feel like, I feel like with everything that the PBO is saying in this, that they don't feel confident actually that it's going to be sustainable, right? They're saying in here that we're seeing in here a lot of like, yeah, but it's a lot of, well, if it were this, if it were that, if it were different than what it actually is, we're seeing that. If the numbers were what they actually are, let's see. We estimate there is a 7.5% chance that the deficit to GDP ratio will decline in every year over 2026 to 2930. This suggests it is unlikely that the government's declining deficit to GDP fiscal anchor will be respected. So again, they're saying, yeah, okay, this is what the budget says, but we don't really believe it, right? A 7.5% chance that the fiscal anchor will be respected. That's not high confidence, right? So, but here's the headline, which a lot of Canadians, a lot of Liberal voters, this is all they'll see, and they'll just say, "Oh, well, it's sustainable. That's good." Yeah, that's not really the whole story. Now, they do go through it here a bit, but they don't really. They don't give the bleak telling of this that it really deserves, right? And again, the headline, most Liberal voters, if they see this article at all, it's just the headline, right? Maybe it'll be, screenshotted and it'll be on X, with none of the context behind it. They'll just say, "Oh, well, it's sustainable, so I guess he's doing a good job." This is why Canada is in so much trouble. All right. David Coletto, and I believe he does Abacus polling. Abacus data, that's right. From the Conservative perspective, they argue that this budget proves the government has not learned from past mistakes. Yes, I think it shows that. I mean, I think it demonstrates that perfectly. They would want Canadians to see it as more of the same: higher spending, higher debts, and no real plan to make life affordable or grow the economy. Well, that's what it actually is, though, right? Now, of course, he's, he's from a polling company, so he's looking at perception all the time. But the perception is real in this case. If Canadians were talking about it around the dinner table, the Conservatives would want the conversation. The Conservatives would want the conversation to sound like this: it's the same old Liberal budget. It's actually not even the same old Liberal budget. It's twice as bad. Big promises, big deficits, and no real results for working people. It makes life less affordable. Yes, it's going to increase inflation even more. The budget keeps liberal taxes on work, groceries, energy, and home building while the cost of living keeps going up. Yep, it nearly doubled the deficit. More debt today means higher taxes and fewer opportunities for the next generation. It focuses on government, not people. This is all true. This is just all real. The plan grows bureaucracy and creates programs instead of cutting waste and letting families keep more of their own money. It will drive businesses and jobs away. Yep. The government talks about competitiveness, but high costs, red tape, and uncertainty make Canada less attractive for investment. It does nothing to fix the housing crisis. Well, we've already been through that with Chapter 3 of the budget, which we've gone over. Canadians still can't afford to buy or rent a home, and this budget will not change that. That's all true. Out of touch with working Canadians. It's not transformational. It's not, well, I mean, it's going to transform Canada into a poor country, or a poorer country. It's the same tax and spend approach we've seen for years, just with a bigger price tag. That's exactly what it is. So he's spot on there. But the CBC doesn't want you to think that. Pierre Poilievre's commented on this. Mark Carney and the Liberals. Is this actually? Hold on a second. Let's make sure it's the. No, this is not the comments on that. Hold on. Let me bring that up. Yeah, so here we go. Pierre Poilievre has commented on this. The budget watchdog called Carney's deficits stupefying and sounded the alarm on his questionable accounting. That's Carney's questionable accounting. Carney's response after releasing the costliest budget ever is to remove him. Canadians deserve independent oversight, not a government that avoids scrutiny while piling on debt, deficits, and inflation. Budget watchdog calls government's fiscal track alarming, stupefying, unsustainable, and then Ottawa seeks new parliamentary budget officer with tact and discretion. Yes, so a parliamentary budget officer who will lie for Mark Carney, for the benefit of Mark Carney. That's obviously what they're looking for. So now there could be an election. There could be an election 17th. If the budget doesn't pass, well, that'll trigger an election. Will that happen? I don't know. I feel like the NDP will probably do what they've been doing for years, which is prop up the Liberal government yet again. But who knows? Who knows? I think, to be honest, the NDP would be smart. I think even though he's the interim leader, Don Davies, is way more of a really a populist NDP union leader. After Jagmeet Singh, he's kind of the perfect choice. I mean, I don't like him, but he's not as bad as Jagmeet for sure. And he's not all about the woke. I mean, of course he's woke. They all are, right? But that's not his main thing. You're probably not going to see him, taking photographs with like dog fetishists, in their dog costumes. He's more just kind of like a working class, a working class union guy, more like a kind of a Jack Layton, I guess, or an old school union NDP guy. And I think they would do much better with him. Now, and I think they'd be smart to go into the next, to have an early election. I think they'd absolutely gain seats right away. Their numbers are going up. Probably, though, they will just support the Liberals, and then maybe in the spring there's an election. By then, they will have their new official leader, which will probably be a tree with a face painted on it, or a photograph of a cloud that looks vaguely like Greta Thunberg. I don't know. All right, let's do a little bit more on the budget, and then, or do we have anything else on it? I don't think we do. Then we're going to get to the chat. Are we done? What do we got here? All right. Let me just double check. Hold on. All right, that's it. So I think we got everything. All right. Nice. Nice. All right, let's go back to the chat for a minute. We're almost an hour in. I guess I spent quite a while on that budget stuff, didn't I? All right. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Let's see. All right. Ottawa James says, let the PBO, the PBO is honest. No wonder they want to fire. Yes, that's exactly why. They want somebody who will lie. Hold on a second. All right. Sorry. I got distracted for a second. All right, let's go. Rosie says, chocolate cake, 9.8 out of 10. They, them, 0.2 out of 10. Well, I'm no mathematician, but I think 0.2 is the most you can get out of 10, isn't it? Pretty sure. Let's see. Rosie says, so sad, I mute and endure. I still find it hilarious. I don't know what you guys are thinking. Chef Rico says, I have a crazy idea. What if we had zero tariffs between Canada and the U.S.? The Canadian economy would go through the roof immediately, as long as the government got out of the way. I think it should be, two sovereign countries, but really closely allied and integrated. Fortress North America. The world is kind of in chaos. EU's falling apart. It's a crumbling edifice. We're crazy to want to get closer to them. I'm sure if we can sell them like LNG and stuff, great. But it's a crumbling edifice. It's falling apart. Half the continent will be in civil war in 20 years anyway, right? No, Fortress North America is the way to go. Ottawa James says, I like this guy. Keep him. Yes, so the parliamentary budget officer, he's great, and that's why they're not keeping him. Yeah, PBO said, we're in trouble, should be terrifying. Yep, that's why he's got to go. Guess they want to trade him for the blue pill, PBO. Rosie says, yep. Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, Carney says the world is more dangerous and divided than ever before, which is why you want to, well, as Carney says, end your relationship with the country with the most powerful military in the world. Super smart. That we're actually totally dependent on for our self-defense, right? For our national defense. Brilliant move there, Mark Carney. Canada is in crisis, but if the PBO says it's an unacceptable opinion. There are too many Canadians that just want sweet little lies, sweet little white lies to placate them. Ottawa James says, in Canada, the Liberals are the red team, Conservatives are the blue team. Yeah, sorry, I didn't catch that there. So Conservatives are blue in Canada, Liberals are red. Yeah. It's backwards for some reason. I don't know why. Chef Rico says, I think Trump should start running ads in Canada supporting Alberta independence. Oops, two can play at that game. Well, it's the thing. Like, Canadians would have lost their minds if Trump had run an ad trying to influence Canadians in Canada. Right. But Canada has this victim complex, unfortunately, and just pretending that we're like on tariffs. We'd never even heard of tariffs. What are these tariffs? Heaven forbid such a thing as tariffs. That sounds terrible. We've never heard of that. It's just pretending that we're just these little innocent. Yes, tariffs are a thing. Every country, Canada does it too. Canada has very serious tariffs on the United States, by the way. It has for a long time. Think supply management, right? And the dairy tariffs. But we have to pretend that, we've never done. We have to play innocent. It's so incredibly dumb and counterproductive. Yes, I think that there's plenty of blame to go around, is my point, right? I'm not saying that Canada is all at fault or has no fault. I'm saying that everybody does, and it's a messy world. And I don't like the way it's been handled from Trump. quite frankly. I don't. I think that has been very counterproductive as well. I just don't like it all around. Trudeau Survivor says, sadly, that would rally the elbozos, the elbows up crowd in Alberta more than it would help. Yeah, I think you're right. Chef Rico says, I know if Alberta actually does it and they go hard on freedom, I might move north. Well, it's just a lot of, the chattering class that just laughs at the idea. It can happen. I'm not saying it will. I'm saying it absolutely can. I personally would still like to see, I would like to see a united Canada still, a strong Canada that's just not woke. That's like the Canada that I grew up in. I would like that. But is that possible? I don't know. I mean, in some ways it never will be that again. I don't know what James says. If Alberta separates, I'm moving west. Well, it's very tempting, isn't it? All right. Let me skip down to the end here. Let's see. Rosie says, fine, Richie, let's see. Would you rather have Princess Baloney grill you a 0.2 steak or a 9.8 steak? Well, which one is more? I don't know. I'm not a mathematician. I don't know. I don't know what a woman is either. Let's see. Ringus, how you doing? Good to see you. Let's see. All right. All right, let's move on. What do we got next? All right. I think I've got some good Pierre Poilievre stuff in here. So here's from yesterday, from the 13th. Pierre Poilievre just torched Carney's so-called new list of national projects. It's all recycled garbage. One of the East Coast projects was first announced in 2017, back in Trudeau's early days. This is posted by Mark Nixon, by the way. So, yeah, Carney keeps just putting up this stuff that's just warmed over. It's already being done, or, it's been announced ages ago, or there's been money already put into it. But it's just been held back by just the endless red tape from the Trudeau era. So it's like if you had a dam, right? And the water is all of the investment and the projects that could be happening in Canada, all the economic growth that's happening in Canada. And you just opened up like one little pipe or something and let it trickle through. That's what Mark Carney is doing. And this is the point that I think that Pierre Poilievre is getting to. Let's take a look.
Yet again today, instead of getting things done, Mark Carney was standing up doing photo ops, announcing that he's going to approve a bunch of projects that were already going to happen. One of them, the Sisson mine in the East Coast. This mine, there was a Liberal minister, Dominic LeBlanc, who said that his government was going to make sure this project got underway within a year, and that was back in 2017. Now today, Mark Carney is re-announcing that same Liberal promise, yet again today, instead of getting things done.
Yeah, and that's all of it. That's all of it. There's really nothing new happening, but he's just claiming these victories on stuff that really has nothing to do with. Let's see. Pierre Poilievre, today's parliamentary budget officer report blows the doors off Prime Minister Carney's phony accounting and costly credit card budget. Another election promise broken. Canadians can't afford the cost of Carney. And he warned us. He's warning us. He tried to warn us. He tried to warn us as much as he could. Now they're getting rid of him. And I will tell you something else, too, on this report on the budget. He will have had an enormous amount of pressure placed on him by the federal government, I'm sure by the Prime Minister's office. They're not supposed to do that, but I'm going to guess that he's been feeling a lot of pressure some way or another, that they've been making sure that their displeasure, that Carney's displeasure has been felt, right? So, you have to keep that in mind as well when you see this, which is not cheery at all. All right, what do we got here? So here is Pierre Poilievre talking about the traitor Chris d'Entremont, who crossed the floor to the Liberals because he felt slighted, because he did not get the deputy speaker role, which I believe you get an extra $51,000 a year for that. So he crossed the floor. Let's hear now the media in Canada. The mainstream media, especially the CBC, has been using this as a way of distracting against the not very well received budget from Mark Carney. So this is what's really been dominating the newscasts, and it's obvious. I mean, the budget is a much bigger deal than this. So why are they obsessing over this? Well, again, it's a distraction, and it's an attempt to frame Pierre Poilievre negatively, especially before his leadership review comes up in January, which he will dominate regardless of what the talking heads on CBC say. But let's hear Pierre Poilievre deal with this issue.
Hey, Tim Brooks, CTV. You lost 2 MPs the week of the budget. One cited your leadership as a reason for leaving. I just want to put Carney and the Liberals to the side here, just as you personally.
Of course you do.
Does this say anything about your leadership? Have you maybe reflected on your leadership style moving forward?
No, we are. My plan is to continue to lead and be the only leader in the country that's fighting for an affordable Canada, where our people who work hard can afford a home and food. That is my agenda. And I will just quote Mr. d'Entremont when he speaks about Mark Carney. He says, after 6 months under a new prime minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting. He said that he would be judged by the cost of groceries at the store. Well, Canadians are judging him, and they are not impressed. He said this only a few months ago. Here.
God damn it. Hold on. All right, let's watch that again. I should not be getting ads, by the way, on this. So I don't know why I got an ad on that.
Said Mr. Carney. The back
Let me just see.
goes on dollars. But I won't said this only a few months
All right,
ago, and it is unacceptable. It is in.
We're going to start from the top.
Hey, Tim Brooks, CTV. You lost 2 MPs the week of the budget. One cited your leadership as a reason for leaving. I just want to put Carney and the Liberals to the side here, just as you personally.
Of course you do.
Does this say anything about your leadership? Have you maybe reflected on your leadership style moving forward?
No, we are. My plan is to continue to lead and be the only leader in the country that's fighting for an affordable Canada, where our people who work hard can afford a home and food. That is my agenda. And I will just quote Mr. d'Entremont when he speaks about Mark Carney. He says, after 6 months under a new prime minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting. He said that he would be judged by the cost of groceries at the store. Well, Canadians are judging him, and they are not impressed. He said this only a few months ago.
I don't know. Oh, so this is... Oh, okay. So this isn't actually an ad running on X. This is on their actual recording. All right. I was about to freak out because I'm Premium Plus. All right, here we go.
Here today, it is deliberate and need to be the only leader in the country that's fighting for an affordable Canada, where our people who work hard can afford a home and food. That is my agenda. And I will just quote Mr. d'Entremont when he speaks about Mark Carney. He says, after 6 months under a new prime minister who promised financial discipline, Canadians are still waiting. He said that he would be judged by the cost of groceries at the store. Well, Canadians are judging him, and they are not impressed. He said this only a few months ago. Since the Liberals came to power, food prices are up 40%. We have heard it many. Since the Liberals came to power, food prices are up 40%. We have heard it many times here today. It is deliberate and it is unacceptable. It is inhumane, said Mr. d'Entremont, for a G7 country. So he said that Liberal food price inflation under Mark Carney was inhumane, and I couldn't agree more. And I feel badly for the inhumane conditions, to use his own words, that he is now supporting for his own constituents. But I won't just quote him. I'll quote Nate Erskine Smith, a Liberal MP, who now says that his children should not have to pay for Mark Carney's budget. Let me see here. Now to the bad and more fairly, where expectations were set at a level we failed to meet, including on the question of generational investments. The budget falls short of these specific promises in our platform, and it unfortunately falls well short of the wartime home building effort that many of us thought we'd deliver. It's certainly not a budget that should throw us into an election on an uncertain time, but it does not live up to its promise of generational investments. He goes on to say, this is Mr. Nate Erskine Smith, a Liberal MP, that Mark Carney has broke his promise to spend less, with $90 billion of new spending, only 36% of which is actually capital. The rest is more costs. So when you have a Liberal MP attacking the costly credit card budget that Mr. Carney has put forward, then we see turmoil in the Liberals, and I know that there will be wall-to-wall coverage on CTV of this turmoil, of a Liberal MP criticizing his own budget days before the vote. I know you're camped outside his office right now, waiting to get comment from him. I know you've been chasing Mark Carney down hallways to find out what he has to say. I mean, it's just been the relentless coverage that you will have of this dissent within the Liberal Party. I understand also there's former Liberal minister Guilbeault is unhappy with the environmental policies that while he supports raising costs, he doesn't think they raise them enough. We've got Wilkinson is unhappy. So I know that I'm looking forward to seeing the wall-to-wall coverage on CTV of all of the costly turmoil in the Liberal budget. So I will be tuning in tonight to watch your newscast. Thank you.
See, the thing is, you might as well do this if you're at Pierre Poilievre. You might as well push back like this and call them out on their hypocrisy, because they're going to hate him anyway. They've hated him the entire time. It's just a relentless drip, 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 and often a very big splash of negative framing, constant, and a constant drip, 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 and tsunami of positive framing for Carney, no matter what it is, right? So, yes, CBC is not going to spend a lot of time talking about turmoil within the Liberal Party. They'll cover it, but the tone will be so different, right? They're not going to use words like turmoil or revolt or anything like that. They're going to do that with Pierre Poilievre. They're going to go all in, and they have with Pierre Poilievre. So you might as well do this, right? There's no downside to this, right? Your own supporters, conservatives, are going to like it, and maybe there's a few Liberal voters who kind of something clicks in their brain and they go, oh yeah, wait a second, they do treat them differently, don't they? Why do they do that? I wonder why. Maybe I'll find out why. So yeah, there's no way to lose this. And there's one other clip of him doing this as well, which let me just check if I've got it. If I don't, I should be able to find it very quickly. You know what? I want to show you this other clip as well. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it. Hold on. Where is it? Let's see. I think it might be this one. Hold on. All right, hold on one second. Let's check this out. I don't think this is the same one.
Brooksy TV, you lost.
That is the same one. We don't want that one. Hold on. Give me 1 second. If I can't find it really quick, we'll move on. But there was another one which I quite liked. Let's see. I think that's the same one. No, that's not it. All right, let's just move on then. All right, I think we're done. What do we got? We've got some woke mind virus stuff here. Let's check it out. Colin Rugg. New psychotherapist Jonathan Alpert says that 75% of the patients he sees have a deep hatred for Trump and are hyper fixated on him. Well, psychotherapists, so, mental illness, so that's going to be mostly leftists. They can't sleep. They feel traumatized by Mr. Trump. It is hilarious. It's the meme, isn't it? It's the meme of them lying in bed and you just have like the little thought bubble of Trump smiling, right? They're doing the meme. Let's take a look.
First of all, identify it for us. You're in a session and you pick up on what?
Well, Harris, it doesn't take long for me to pick up on this. People are obsessed with Trump. They're fixated. They're hyper fixated on Trump. And they talk about some of the features of this disorder. They can't sleep. They feel traumatized by Mr. Trump. They feel restless. I had one patient who said she couldn't enjoy a vacation because anytime she saw Trump in the news or on her device, she felt triggered. So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
These people come to you for the things that you described. Can't sleep, traumatized, perhaps depression. I don't want to put words in your mouth.
Defining pathology of our time. Yeah, like it's a real thing and it's serious. Let's not forget, people are becoming estranged from their families. Like they're dumping their own families. And this is not totally exclusively, but almost exclusively a left-wing thing. It's a Trump derangement syndrome thing, right? Like the vast majority of conservatives can just put it to the side, pull up politics to the side when it comes to family. Maybe they like to rile them up a little bit, but typically they're not going to become hysterical the way that I think most of us have witnessed, somebody like in real time, in real life, become hysterical. Somebody we know become literally hysterical over their politics. So, yeah, a pathology, defining pathology. I think that might be correct.
But at first, you are there to treat an illness, a disorder of some kind. And what you figure out is the trigger.
Well, and Trump is the trigger for many of these people. And to be that fixated on a figure, on a person, it's simply not healthy. And our country has strayed so far away from where we once were. If you look at in the 80s when President Reagan was shot, people were united. He famously said, I hope you're all Republicans to the surgeons. And the response was, today, Mr. President, we're all Republicans. But our country has lost that. We've strayed so far from that unity.
Mm-hmm. And what do you see? Because you told me off camera, 3/4 of your patient load right now has what you're calling this TDS.
Well, 3/4 of my patients will present with a lot of these symptoms, and within probably 5 minutes of seeing me, their hatred for Trump comes up. So if you're that hyper-focused on Trump, that's a real issue, and it's worth being treated.
It's worth being treated. But is there a cure? That's the question. I'm not sure there is a cure. I'm not sure it's treatable. I'm not sure there's a cure. I mean, I guess, I think that there actually is a treatment. It's just getting offline. If you get offline, all of a sudden you'll start to feel better, or they will start to feel better. But they've got to get offline is the problem. And yeah, as soon as they're back on again, straight back to the Trump derangement again, ruining their lives, literally lying in bed, obsessing, obsessing over it, unable to sleep. Canuck Six Trigger says cognitive impairment. That's a part of it. That's a part of it. And keep in mind, these are the people who see themselves as the educated, sophisticated, discerning voters. The people lying in bed at night, unable to sleep because they're obsessing over Donald Trump. Keep that in mind. They really see themselves as, elite humans compared to Trump voters or just conservatives in general, anywhere around the world. Let's see. Yet they lie in bed, stewing in their hatred for Trump, unable to sleep. Let's see. All right. Let's see. All right. We've already seen that stuff. Let's go back to the chat. And actually, before we get to the chat, I would just like to say to anybody watching on YouTube right now, please go and subscribe to the new channel, Radio Baloney News. This is where you will get all the world news, the U.S. news, the meme reviews, which are very popular. People just love them so much. Look, I got New York City Goes Commie, Mom Dami. I got Gavin Newsom with his terrible lying and my theory about how he's actually a vampire. We've got the Sydney Sweeney interview here, Woke BBC Witch Hunt, all that great stuff. It's not going to be on the channel you're watching right now. This is live streams and Canadian news only now. And all that stuff is now on Radio Baloney News. It's the featured channel on the homepage of this channel. Please go and subscribe there because the algorithm ain't going to help me out. Let's face it. Let's get a different show on here. Let's see. What about a golf show? This is a good show. I like this one. Check out that swing. Nice. All right. Hold on. Let's see. What do we got? Ringus says Pierre is awesome. I think that I think he will dominate in the leadership review. I think he's the best conservative leader we've had in a long, long time. Let's see. Ottawa James says Pierre rocks. Well, he might as well do this stuff, to fight back against the media. There's really nothing to lose. They're going to say he's divisive and blah 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 and everything else. Anyway, they say that about every conservative. It really doesn't matter. You might as well stand up for yourself and win a few extra fans that way. Spambot says, I love his smirk at the end there. Let's see. Spambot says, reminds me of the takedown of Kate Smurthwaite on BBC a few years ago. I vaguely remember, I think we take a look at that actually like a few months ago or something. Ringus says, Pierre's awesome. Rosie says, see Pierre smile. He's smiling more lately. Well, the polls should be making him smile more lately, actually. I think they're neck and neck right now, which I think would actually give an advantage to the conservatives, because I think the conservative vote is a little more efficient than the liberals at this point. Ringus says, that's because Pierre has all the cards against CBC. Well, they're never going to like him. There's no point in playing ball with them and saying, yes, sir, may I have another? Just, you got to fight back. Oh, yeah, the sticks and stones thing. Yeah, we actually did just check that out not that long ago. Peter Lloyd's smirk is exactly like Pierre's. It was sticks and stones may break my bones, but a feminist will always be offended. I think that was the quote. Chef Rico says, oh my God, can't be real, can it? Talking about the people that have like actual clinical Trump derangement. That's dumb. Trump is basically a blue dog Democrat. Well, yeah, look, there's videos of Hillary Clinton a couple of decades ago saying basically the same thing on immigration. Just on that. Never mind. Let's not even get into crime. She was worse on crime and more hardcore on crime in the 90s. Do people forget about the 3 strikes law? Like Bill Clinton? Like people forget about that? Let's see. Chef Rico says it's good for them to face their fear of Trump. Yeah, exactly. Let's see. Well, what would be good for them is for them to actually be forced to watch some unedited clips of Trump and some of the regarding some of the hoaxes they've been told, like the Fine People hoax. Chevrigo says Trump is single-handedly increasing the therapy economy. Let's see. Spambot wants to take a look at that Peter Lloyd clip. We'll check it out. I think most people have seen it because we've played that before on here, but we'll take a look at it because it is a really good clip. So you can't really play it too many times. Let's check it out. Yeah, Kate Smurthwaite is one of these insufferable feminists who is literally offended at everything, has no talent. She's, I guess is a kind of self-styled comedian as well, although apparently nobody thinks she's funny or goes to see her shows. Let's take a look.
Really have a right to be treated respectfully.
We are unfortunately running out of time, but Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Sorry, let's go back.
Really have a right to be treated respectfully.
We are unfortunately running out of time, but Peter, I just want to get one final thought from you. Are there words that are used to describe men that offend you?
Not particularly, and if there are some I don't like, I certainly wouldn't want them banned. But it always goes back to that old adage: sticks and stones may break my bones, but there will always be something to offend a feminist.
Peter
Lloyd. No, that's just obnoxious.
Peter Lloyd,
you have to give me a chance.
We'll let you carry on.
That is ridiculous. No, hang on, I won't do your show again if you don't let me respond.
Go on, Kate, have a word.
Come on, that's ridiculous. I mean,
She immediately proves this point. It's a classic. That's a classic. Let's see. Freeze on his smirk. All right, let's go back, take a look. There we go. There's the smirk. That is a classic. All right. All right, let's move on. So, did we have anything past this? Let's see. All right, no. Let's see. So, here we have the Joe Rogan show. There is a a Dr. Peter Attia is telling a story about woke ideology in a medical school urology lecture. You wouldn't think there'd be much room for woke in this until then you start thinking about gender theory, and then it all starts to make sense. Because the woke tendrils have to get into just everything, every institution, every aspect of human life. This was posted by Camus. Let's take a look.
My roommate from med school, who's a urologist, called me yesterday because he couldn't wait to tell me this ridiculous story. So a colleague of his, this female urologist who's badass surgeon, was giving a lecture to the medical school, which is common, right? You'll always have the surgeon will come in or the doctor will come in. And before she got up to give her lecture, the dean said to her, I'm not making this up, this is a urologist giving a lecture to a group of medical students, said, I would appreciate it if you would not use the word penis during this lecture.
He said it before the lecture?
Yeah. She said, it's an anatomic term. I'm a urologist. What would you like me to say? And what he came up with some idiotic, he said, maybe you could call it male erectile tissue. And she was like, well, she's now fucking with him. She's like, but
what if it's flaccid?
Wouldn't the use of male also be kind of triggering in that sense? I mean,
good point.
Yeah. I mean, and she basically told him to piss off.
And what did this guy was the dean?
The dean of the medical school.
And I assume he's a doctor as well?
He should be. Yeah. If he's a dean of a medical school, he would be an MD.
What in the fuck is wrong with people?
I don't know.
Well, I mean, what happened was that, yeah, he's a doctor, but he was hired to be woke. So he has to be woke, right? So most of the money that is spent now by any school actually is on bureaucracy, right? And not on the actual teachers, professors. It's now on the administration. I think it's like 80%. It's flipped. So it used to be 20% administrators, 80% educators. Now it's flipped. So 80% administrators. And of course, there's a bunch of them. Their job is to enforce wokeness, ideological purity. So, and that's why he would have been hired as the dean, because he's willing to do that, right? Willing to just totally defy reality, ignore reality, and sell fantasies that, counterproductive fantasies that will hurt the institution, ultimately hurt the students, and ultimately hurt patients. Now, I would have suggested, well, what if I say Franken beans, and then for women, I'll say soft shell clam. That's what I would have done. I would have just gone ahead and done it, actually. Personally, that's just my feeling on it. I think that's the tactful way.
My roommate.
I think that would have been the tactful way to deal with it. I wonder what people are saying underneath. Let's take a look. NPC Liberator says, my mentee described an experience in class where his woke peers decided to call out a black female nephrologist for highlight data that guides doctors on how to prescribe antihypertensives for differing segments of the population. This was in a major West Coast med school. I don't even understand that. I don't even get that. Let's see. Bartamy Jones says, beside humanities and college campuses, and besides humanities and college campuses, the most wokest places on earth are U.S. medical schools. Yet they're tied to big pharma is strong. It's quite a bad combination. Well, this is where you don't want delusions and fantasies, is in medical school, because ultimately that is going to get down to the patients. You certainly don't want DEI, right? Medical school, if there's anywhere that you just want, merit, just pure merit, right? It's got to be that. Although you can think of other things, engineering schools, I don't know, like nuclear science, for instance. There's actually just all of science. You don't want wokeness. You don't want DEI. This should be purely based on merit. If you want the plane to stay in the sky and you don't want the bridge to fall over, right? Or if you don't want to, go in for an operation and get it the wrong operation, or have the operation done wrong, right? Because, equity meant that the person who should never have been a doctor in the first place is a doctor, because equity, and somehow that makes sense. All right. Anything else here that we've got? Yeah, so this is horrible. Belgian parents sue hospital after their 18-year-old died by suicide. Testosterone was prescribed after just one 50-minute consultation, with the first injection given 2 days later. This is just, this so that people won't be called names. This happens so that health professionals won't be called names, won't be called phobes. The lawsuit alleges insufficient psychological screening and no assessment of family medical history. Well, this is gender affirming care, though. This is the law in Canada, by the way, right? Any kind of questioning is considered conversion therapy in Canada. So if a doctor says, well, maybe there's some other underlying cause of your discomfort, that doctor can lose his medical license. That's considered conversion therapy, seriously, in Canada, thanks to Trudeau. And by the way, I have to say, the Conservatives are not innocent in this. They voted unanimously, including Pierre Poilievre. They voted unanimously for this, right? And so everybody, and everybody shares guilt in this. Everybody's complicit in it. My hope is that Pierre Poilievre has, as I changed my politics, has found the inner strength to actually stand against the horrors of this redefinition of gender into an infinite series of abstractions. Because look, I mean, these are the lie that parents are told is if their children don't become, chemically castrated, sterilized, double mastectomies, permanently medicalized, that they will commit suicide, as if that makes sense, as if any sane person would say, yeah, that's actually going to stop suicidal ideation. Makes absolutely no sense, but that's the lie that parents are told. When, of course, obviously, it increases the risk of that many, many times. But anyway, we're not going to read the whole article, but it's nothing we haven't seen before. All right. We're going to get onto this Epstein stuff in a second, but let's first go back to the chat for a minute. Let's see what's going on. JDL, how you doing? Says having surgery next week. Well, that sucks. Sorry to hear that. Spambot says that Smurthwaite clip is my morning alarm clock. That's pretty good. I should actually get that on my Stream Deck, that clip. We can just pull that out when we need it. Let's see. JDL hernia area near the male zone. Well, I hope that goes well. That's a tough one. That's a difficult one, actually. Trudeau Survivor says the worst thing about hernia surgery is getting in and out of bed after. Yeah, it's a really awkward one, isn't it? Let's see. All right, let me skip down a little bit. Ringus says the woke extreme left should let kids be kids, but they won't, because everything is political to them, including the personal. Well, Ottawa James had 2 hernia surgeries. Both went well, so, there's hope. Let's see. All right. So what have we got here? What have we got here? Okay. From November 13th. Soloniath. Okay, so they've released these letters, these Epstein letters. Whether they're legitimate or not, it seems to be pretty up in the air. The Democrats have. But Soloniath says, let me get this straight. With the release of Epstein's emails, we found out that Epstein hated Trump, didn't trust him, they weren't friends. The New York Times directly worked with Epstein to suppress stories about him. After Bradley Edwards, the lawyer for the accusers, said that Trump was the only individual to cooperate and help, Epstein said Trump didn't have, quote, one decent cell in his body. So that's why Epstein didn't like him. This was also compelling that the Democrats faked the redaction of a supposed victim's name. The name they blocked was Virginia Giuffre, who publicly testified that Trump was innocent. Oh, and also Russiagate was confirmed as a hoax, just like we said. Are Democrats retarded? Just deranged. Yes, so the Democrats redacted the name that Virginia Giuffre, who had publicly already testified that Trump was innocent. That's why they redacted that name, to try and trick everybody. So, and my feelings on all of this are that Trump has been the most investigated man in history at this point. If they genuinely had something, everybody would know about it. Everybody would have known about it well before, certainly his second term, right? Well before his second term. This is just more desperation, just more red meat for the people that already hate him and will just believe anything. The same people who you can show them the whole clip of the Fine People hoax, right? The Fine People, you can show them the whole clip. It won't matter. They'll just watch it and then they'll just erase the part that proves that it's a hoax from their mind and then just continue on blithely repeating the hoax over and over again, right? There is no curing them. So Gunther Eagleman posted this. Breaking, President Trump just destroyed any narrative claiming that he doesn't care about the Epstein victims. They have officially effed around. So let's take a look from Donald J. Trump. Now that the Democrats are using the Epstein hoax involving Democrats, not Republicans, to try and deflect from their disastrous shutdown, I'll just read it normal now, and all of their other failures, I will be asking Attorney General Pam Bondi and the Department of Justice, together with our great patriots at the FBI, to investigate Jeffrey Epstein's involvement and relationship with Bill Clinton, Larry Summers, Reid Hoffman, J.P. Morgan Chase, and many other people and institutions to determine what was going on with them and him. This is another Russia scam with all arrows pointing to the Democrats. Records show that these men and many others spent large portions of their life with Epstein and on his island. Stay tuned. So maybe they shouldn't have effed around, but they're so desperate. So anyway, he's just flipped it on him. And yeah, again, at this point, does anybody believe if there really was anything concrete, anything real, that it wouldn't already be out? Certainly before his second term. Certainly. All right. So this is a very good thing. Department of State. Anarchist militants, well, they're actually like anarcho-communists or just revolutionary communists, but anarchist militants have waged terror campaigns in the United States and Europe, conspiring to undermine the foundations of Western civilization through their brutal attacks. The State Department will designate these 4 Antifa groups as foreign terror organizations. Antifa Ost is a terrorist organization based in Germany, and I think Ost means east in German, that is infamous for wielding hammers in premeditated attacks against unsuspecting victims. This Antifa group was named a terrorist organization by Hungary after it attacked 9 victims in Budapest. And this is brutal, by the way. The video of this is brutal, and I've got the video too. Hold on. So anyway, this is an excellent development, by the way, because these people are a plague on civilization. They want to burn it all down. These are, just call them Stalinists, right? These are people who hate civilization, are totally anti-human, and would make any life they can touch, they will turn into hell. Here we go. Here's the group in Germany. One of the Antifa groups designated by the State Department as a foreign terrorist organization is Antifa Ost, aka Hammerband. They are known for carrying out brutal hammer and melee attacks on unsuspecting victims. They aim to break the victims' bones. So let's take a look. I mean, this is brutal, by the way. Jeez, what scumbags. Just scumbags. I mean, that was a pretty violent attack with hammers for just an idea, right? Just scumbags. This should have happened ages ago, quite frankly. Ages ago. From Eric Doherty here, in a massive development In a massive development, Secretary Marco Rubio designates Antifa a foreign terrorist organization, an escalation above the current domestic designation. This will surge the government's ability to choke their funding source and end their activities. Now, they've been handcuffed by the fact that you can't actually declare a domestic group a terrorist group. So, but if it's a foreign terrorist group, you can use all the powers at hand in that case to deal with them. And yeah, I mean, this is something Andy No suggested ages ago, or a couple of months ago. Rubio said the Department of State is designating 4 Antifa groups as foreign terrorist organizations and specially designated global terrorists. The United States will continue using all available tools to protect our nation from these anti-American, anti-capitalist, and anti-Christian terror groups. Thank you, Marco. So, yeah, this should have happened. I mean, it's crazy that these groups have been allowed to literally lay siege to federal buildings, like in Portland, for months, trying to firebomb, trying to burn down a federal courthouse. It's insanity. Let's take a look at this.
Led a hearing on politically motivated violence, and you are now pushing the State Department to designate Antifa as a foreign terrorist organization. Tell me about that and how it's going at this point.
Yeah, I think the hearing yesterday was really important. If we're ever going to get on the other side of this and get rid of political violence in this country, we have to say free speech, yes, political violence, no, in all circumstances. But we have to be clear about who's largely responsible for this right now. It's coming from the left. Whether it's the 2 attempts on the president's life, Charlie Kirk, the most dramatic example, all the examples that you pointed out, this is coming from the left side, and it's chilling when you look at even the polling here. 25% of those who describe themselves as very liberal believe that political assassinations and violence are justified. Over half people, 55% on the left side of the ledger, believe that killing President Trump is at least somewhat justified. There's a problem. And I think we have to start going after these organizations. Antifa is not some idea. It's an organization. I applaud the president for declaring them a domestic terror organization, but they're also a foreign terrorist organization. They have safe houses around the world, including in this country. They launder money to support this violence. This isn't free speech. This is firebombing buildings and attacking ICE officers. And the time, I think, is for us to get really serious about this and take it head on.
So, yeah, they finally have. So I think you'll see Antifa. Antifa has already gone quiet since the administration has started talking about it and how they're going to go after them. But they're going to go a lot more quiet now. We've already seen a couple of Antifa leaders leaving the country. The guy who wrote the Antifa handbook, for instance, who's also involved in financing them. Yeah, you're going to see it go real quiet, I think. But I hope that they just keep going after them because there's plenty of evidence. There's tons of video, and there's hundreds and hundreds of crimes committed. So I hope they keep after it. Just keep going, right? Because you can't have revolutionary communists, especially taking over cities like Portland. No, you can't have that. Seattle's got a real problem with them as well. All right. I want to show you this. Actually, before we get to this, though, I know you guys will probably have something to say about. Let's put on a different show. We got the golf show. I like the the mixed martial arts show. Let's check this one out. Let's see. We're on the Women's Sports Channel, by the way. Let's see. Rosie says, wonder why that urologist did not just use JDL's words near the male zone. When did he say that? Let's see. Hold on a second. Still talking about hernias. It's interesting stuff, but I want to move on to any of the other stuff. Canuck Six Stringer, how you doing, Canuck Six Stringer? Pure scumbaggery. He says, yes, they're awful. They're awful. Let's see. All right. Maybe I'll do an ad read right now. That might be fun. Let's see. What is the best one for me? I love these crypto.com ads. Let's do it. Let's go for it. All right, people, let's be clear. Cryptocurrency is no longer emerging. It's here. And this latest move cements that reality in the biggest way yet. Trump Media Group has just inked a massive $6.4 billion deal with Crypto.com, the world's top crypto platform. They're teaming up to scoop up $6.4 billion in CRO, the powerhouse token that fuels fast, low-fee DeFi, staking rewards, and real-world perks like cashbacks on your spends to launch America's first CRO treasury. When it's done, this new company will be the biggest CRO holder out there. Want in all the action? Head to crypto.com. That's crypto.com today and grab some CRO. Let's make crypto great again. I tried to do it in normal voice, but I got too excited. I went to weird, creepy voice. Well, I don't think it's creepy. To me, that's like a kind of like almost like a Winston Churchill right there, which I think, Winston Churchill, one of the great orators of all time, gives it that kind of weight that the ad requires, because it's a beautiful big ad, beautiful big crypto ad. We love that ad. Everybody at Radio Baloney loves that ad. We all love it. It's beautiful. It's the best. Big, beautiful ad. And it gives it that weight that it requires, that it needs, that it deserves. And I give it everything. You guys know I give everything to my ads on this channel. It's beautiful. Spambot says, good growl. I don't know. James says, oh, okay, Churchill. Not Churchill, LOL. We will crypto on the beaches and on the landing grounds. We shall crypto in the fields and in the streets. We shall never not crypto. Like that. Chef Rico says, I remember a video in Minneapolis 2020 of a guy dressed in Antifa throwing bricks through windows to spark looting. Black guy was pointing him out, saying, look, that white guy is smashing stuff. Yes, they showed up at those. In 2020, Antifa was a big part of that because they use big crowds as cover. Right? They're only really effective when there's a big crowd. Then they can show up and start instigating stuff. And they were very effective in 2020. Gandalf Monkey, how you doing? Says, I didn't believe in a higher power until that ad read. Well, that's what I'm here for, to bring you to the light. And I don't mean bring it to the light like you died of cringe watching my ad and then you move towards the light. I don't mean that. Like, you know what I mean. Let's see. Rosie says, no, that was not so creepy. All right. Let's see what else we got here. All right. Let us move on. Let's see. We did the Antifa stuff. What do we got now? So Alberta independence. This is a favorite. This is a particular favorite of Spambots. So I don't really like AI stuff. I don't really like it that much, but this one here is actually pretty good, and it's got some good points in it. And this was posted by Mark Nixon, by the way. Alberta's new independence ad is fire. And I would say I typically don't like the AI stuff because it's, a lot of the time it's slop, but this one is pretty good. And I have to say that uncanny valley is getting smaller and smaller. The AI is getting better and better, like almost on like a daily basis. Let's take a look at this. This is a good ad, by the way.
What the?
I'm sorry, sir. It says you've gone over your yearly emissions limit. The system won't let me override it.
New federal carbon rationing system will begin next month across Canada.
Glad we separated from that nonsense.
Canada has a new green diet rule. Only one red meat purchase per household.
Can you believe they're rationing steak back in Canada?
I guess there is more for us.
Should have moved to Alberta when I had the chance.
I don't want to be that guy. I don't want to be that guy. I do not. Well, let's continue.
Hard to believe how close we came to losing all this.
Alberta becoming independent was the best choice we ever made.
Thing is, people who don't pay attention will see that and go, well, rationing meat, digital currency, you can't, the teller tells you can't buy, it's only one thing of meat per family. The people that aren't paying attention will look at that and go, oh, that's just crazy. That's fear mongering. Now, look, Canada is a country, all right, where they can give sex changes to children. Okay. The government, every institution, the media, all totally on board. This is the most beautiful thing that's ever happened. All right. Sex changes for children. That's crazy. That's less crazy than this stuff. Okay. What's that less crazy than?
Sorry, sir, it says you've gone over your yearly emissions limit. The system won't let me override it.
New federal.
So can't take a flight because you've gone over your emissions limit. That's less crazy than sex changes for children.
Carbon rationing system will begin next month across Canada.
Glad we separated from that nonsense.
That's less crazy in my mind.
Canada has a new green diet rule. Only one red meat purchase per household.
Less crazy than what's already happening in Canada.
Can you believe they're rationing steak back in Canada?
I guess there is more for us.
Should have moved to Alberta when I had the chance.
Yeah, the censorship, less crazy. I mean, they're passing bills right now for this. This is apparently actually the most, in terms of legislation that's being passed, it's the most important thing to Carney. To be able to deny people access to the global marketplace of ideas. Like, this stuff is all less crazy than what happens in Canada now. Okay? So, yeah, I think this is a good ad, an effective ad, and people should pay attention to this stuff. Because this is all in the works. This is all like, do you think that all the good people that meet up, all those world leaders and business leaders who meet up in Davos every year, the people like Mark Carney, for instance, do you think that it's all just for fun? Do you think they're not taking any of it seriously? Because this is all the stuff that they're pushing, right? They didn't mention in this that you won't be able to own a car or the 15-minute cities even. What do you think that's just all? They're just shooting the shit? No, they're serious about all of it. And again, everything in this less crazy than what's already happening in Canada. I mean, you've got in kindergartens, they've got books telling 5-year-olds that they might be born in the wrong body. That's crazier than any of this shit. So, yeah, this in any case, this is good. And AI is getting better. AI is getting better. Again, it's just getting more and more realistic, and that uncanny valley is shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, where it's becoming just undistinguishable from, a camera crew and actors. Let's see. Anything else in here? All right, we already covered that. All right. What are you guys saying, by the way? JDL says, welcome to the revolution. Are you talking about Alberta independence? I don't know what James says. LOL, Richie, you sound like Arnold. Arnold. I don't see it. Let's see. What else we got? Nevada says, how you doing, Nevada? Richie, better hurry the F up. I need to start planning, I think. I think it's just difficult. Family and everything. Would I even be able to sell my house now with all the land claims going on? Is my house value at 0 right now? Let's see. Trudeau Survivor says tenderloin steak is only $60 per pound. Why are people complaining? Rosie says, move west, Richie. Kidnap your family. I get at this point, actually, like, what is even happening? Like with just property value, we know what's happened in Richmond, where they just handed it over. But what about the rest of the province? I mean, it's very serious what's happening with the land claims and land title now. Would I even be able to sell the place? That's a serious question. Oh yeah, you're saying west, east. You mean east? Sorry, move west, Richie. Kidnap your family. East. Yeah, Trudeau Survivor says if he moves west, he'll be living in China. Yeah. Sorry, that's just my brain not working again. So, what's going on here? David Nightleg posted this. This is a real image and headline. So, what's going on here? Let's see. Here's the CBC. CBC News. Carney recommends 7 major projects for approval, including new mines, LNG, and hydro development, except none of them are really new. PM says projects getting the green light will help Canada become an energy superpower. This is him picking a few projects that he likes, some of which he's actually invested in companies that are getting the contracts, by the way. So much for the blind trust, right? Picking a few hand-picked things that he's going to remove the red tape that the Liberal Party has legislated for the country, and just ignoring hundreds of other projects. But it looks like a win, and he knows the CBC will push it, and the make-believe game that he's actually doing anything useful will continue. I present the CBC's unironic announcement, an image of our dear leader's personal approval of 7 industrial projects. First, their unquestioned idea that PM Carney takes credit for approving release of 7 instead of changing the rules his government imposes to release hundreds of major projects from years of red-green tape. Yet none of these are new, right? Anyway, none of them are new. He's just kind of taking off the Liberal Party's own red tape now after years of them being held back. Second, realizing again that we are paying these CBC lefties to worship their chosen one, who also offered them hundreds of millions in our tax dollars in the last election. Well, he said he'd give them $150 billion a year raise if he got elected. Only if he got elected, of course. So Canada gets projected like some tin pot centrally planned state to global capital markets. I didn't think I had any more scorched earth contempt for CBC. Liberal paid PR left in me. Turns out I still do. Well, there's dear leader there in Korea. There's that Carney. So, yeah. Canada's major project announcements are a national embarrassment, an economic hostage release program that tells the world just how uninvestable Canada has become under the Liberal Party. Yeah, what he really wants is to extract every penny possible, and we're seeing that in the budget, to invest to subsidize a bunch of green boondoggles like carbon capture. All right, let's move on. What do we got here? So I wanted to show you this around the issue. Right now, we've got the land claims fiasco in BC, which has basically put the whole province up for grabs. Private property rights in the entirety of the province are up for grabs right now. And it's total and utter insanity. This is something that the NDP government has been keeping secret for years and didn't even fight against. Didn't even fight against in their wokeness. Yeah, woke, progressive, suicidal empathy has consequences. And those consequences are shocking when they reach their logical conclusions. While everybody's asleep, shocking things are happening. Unbelievable things are happening. Let's see, financial life ruining things are happening. So In the meantime, there has been the ongoing mass deception about unmarked graves at residential schools in Canada. And it's been years now, and there have been no digs, and I think there's been one or two, and where those have happened, there was nothing found, just rocks under the ground. And because of that, there will be no more actual digs, even if money is provided to do it, because everybody knows there's nothing there, but it is leverage. And unfortunately, the left in Canada now is not interested in reality or truth. In terms of truth and reconciliation, truth is right out the window. Let's take a look. So you have here one BC leader, Dallas Brody, and Jim McMurtry, and a couple of other people have went to Kamloops to speak on campus to students to try and tell them the truth of what's actually happening. There is no evidence of bodies, for instance. Let's take a look how this went, and I think you can probably guess.
They're not showing us.
Who are you? Associated with Charlie Kirk.
If you say something, back it up.
Who
Okay,
are you
folks,
to
you know
say
what?
that it's untrue
No, I'm allowed to speak
information?
too.
I would love if everyone, again, we're in the middle of a pathway here. So why don't we just go to the
And it's not your place to ask somebody to dig up remains.
Yes, it is. There is for the $12 billion has been paid for it.
No, it isn't.
Yes, it is.
The reserve is not your taxpayer dollars.
Yeah,
$12.1 million was given to the band for digging.
Okay,
And no
folks.
digging was done, so the money needs
You're
to
not
be
welcome
refunded.
here, and your message isn't welcome.
You're not welcome. With the $12 billion donation.
So she's just telling her the truth, right? $12 billion was given for digging at Kamloops to see if there were actually unmarked graves there, right? No digging has been done for obvious reasons, because everybody knows there's nothing there, right? She's saying, well, you're not welcome here. You're not welcome. Well, what she's saying is the truth is that we're not interested in the truth. And the argument has gone from, well, there's all these unmarked graves that were discovered by ground penetrating radar, which of course actually cannot tell you that. It can tell you that there's things under the ground. And of course there's things, rocks, tree roots, all kinds of things anywhere under the ground, right? So it went from, oh, there's proof to, well, actually, it went from there's proof to we need to do digs to, well, actually, we don't need to do digs and you just have to believe us. And that's where it's at now. And unfortunately, these parasitized people and these students are, well, they're totally immune to reality. They're not interested in reality. They have their story and they just want to believe it, right? Because it's part of their identity now is just simply to be on the side of the thing that feels left wing.
He doesn't welcome either then.
You should listen.
You should
listen.
How much is the Vatican giving you? Ladies and gentlemen, let's have a pleasant, respectful conversation. Then let her. Then don't start doing what she's saying.
Exactly right.
She is causing trouble right there.
Causing
Can
trouble?
we not speak our mind without somebody saying that?
Let's go over here and have that
She
conversation.
has no right.
Let's have
Hear that? F all genocide deniers. Well, they're saying, let's do a dig and find out. Not interested in that. Because they all know. I think everybody knows at this point. There's nothing there, but they have to hold on to it. Again, their personas are so tied up in it, right? That they have to keep believing it. They have to. And again, reality doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. It's just what feels like it would be acceptably left-wing or progressive enough to the peer group, to the bubble. That's it. I find this frightening. It's like a red guard, like a Canadian red guard. Totally immune to reality, totally immune to truth, totally ideological, and in total conformity ideologically as well. I find this very, very frightening, to be honest, because these are not people that can be reasoned with. Right? This could escalate into literally what happened in China during the Cultural Revolution. These people can be the Canadian Red Guard. I mean, it's a good idea to pay attention to history. At least just pay attention. Just be at least, a little bit familiar with it. Protester says it's not our place to ask somebody to dig up remains. If you're making the claim, you've got to prove it. Truth matters. One BC leader, Dallas Brody, shuts her down by reminding everyone that $12 million was given to the band to dig, but there was no digging, and the $12 million, nobody knows where it is. It's gone completely missing. There won't be a dig because there will be more demands for more millions. Ryan Garrettson posted this. This is Drea Humphrey from Rebel News. She's saying, why are people angry at the fact that no remains have been found? This is actually good news, right? They want their genocide, right? And they will refuse anything else.
I think independent media is like your only real media if you get. Excuse me.
Were you allowed permits to film on campus?
Excuse me, sir.
Ma'am, were you allowed permits to film on campus?
Excuse me.
Were you allowed permits to film on campus?
I'm in the middle of doing a.
Wait a second. I thought they wanted diverse voices. Didn't they want diverse voices? No, it turns out that was all bullshit all along. No, what they want is conformity, total ideological conformity, right? It's amazing. If Drea was a leftist and conservatives were doing this, they'd all be freaking out. In fact, it would lead the news in Canada. It would lead the news, the racism. But of course, because they're not actually interested in racism or diverse voices. It's all just about power, right? Well, this isn't going to get covered on the CBC, obviously, and these people don't care. These people don't care that she's a diverse voice because she's not to them.
That's fantastic. Were you allowed a permit by the campus, by the university?
This is a public place.
No, it's not. It's a private.
All right. Triggering.
On this campus that you did not receive. You're here without authorization.
All right, you guys.
Are you kicking people?
No.
She's not kicking anyone. You guys are bullies. Move out of the way.
Ma'am, I'm asking you a question. You're a reporter.
I don't know who you are.
A question.
Yeah, okay. Well, I'm the one who asks questions. I'm in the middle.
I mean, they're just deranged. I mean, it's amazing how she's managing to keep her calm there. Also, considering the fact that, she's a woman and there's a lot of men being very aggressive around her, which is definitely intimidating. And they're intending to do that, by the way, right? Where is all their leftism now? Where is all their diversity now? Oh, it turns out it's all bull. They don't actually mean any of it. They want, these are the people that will burn down their own civilization. These are the people who want the boot on their face, the boot on a human face forever from 1984. They want it on their face, and as long as it's on everybody else's face as well. These are the dregs of society. This is what you get when you're turning out a new red guard from university every single year. This is what you get. Morons who will destroy their own civilization, the civilization that they're in, that will ruin their own lives. It's utterly maddening, is it not? I mean, this should take these people's behavior, that this is normal on any university, college campus across Canada, should be terrifying. These are people totally immune to reality or common sense, totally historically illiterate, dangerous minds. These people, when they reach a critical mass, we know what happens in a society, right? We know what happened in Russia. We know what happened in China. We know what happened in Cambodia. We know what happened in North Korea. North Korea right now is the perfection of what these people want.
You can wait. How about this? Why don't you wait until I'm done doing what I'm doing?
No, you don't show up unethically
on
this campus.
So anyway,
and then disrespect people that are here.
it's sad. It really is sad. Like, to be so angry about the good news that there have not been 215 children's remains, and to ignore everything, all of the evidence that suggests there has been a manipulation with the tax dollars and what are being used, and to act like it's an us against them kind of thing, to say, hey, Those kids didn't die. It's like the new form of Munchausen syndrome or something. Like they get a payoff from thinking these kids were murdered. Over 100 bands made the same false claims, meaning unproven, and not a single one has found a single body to date. Yet our university students believe that it's true. They don't have the facts. They don't have the reason. They just have the narrative, and they're so passionate about it. It's sick. It's concerning. But you know what? Things like this get people thinking, right? And that's what this is all about. You know, one of the ladies said, you know, this isn't the right space. Why don't you guys just come to the university and have a debate? I would love that. I have reached out so many times, of course, to the band, to the government to have these conversations. But I would love to have that debate. So I wanted to get her name. There she is. I'm going to try to get her name because she wants to facilitate that. I would love to, you know, maybe host.
That will never happen. That will never happen because the question is, where are the bodies? And there aren't any. There's no answer to that. So it will never happen. Will never, never happen. Here from the New Westminster Times. A 1BC event in Kamloops canceled by hotel head office. This is the third venue that is canceled due to political pressure. The event is now moving onto the street outside the hotel. This is what Canada has come to. This is the fate of truth in Canada.
Hello? This isn't working, that's all right. Thanks for coming out, everyone. It's been a bit of a hectic morning with what's been going on, and unfortunately have some bad news, which is that the venue here has now said that we need to leave. So, you know, this is actually the second venue today. We were over at the Thompson Hotel and Conference Center earlier today, at about 10 a.m. setting up, kind of like this, we were getting set up. And they apparently received a call from general manager at Coast Hotel to the manager at the Thompson Hotel and Conference Center. And then
So you get the point. Again, Canada's the place where truth, objectivity goes to die. Canada didn't used to be like this. This is Canada remade in the image of Justin Trudeau and his magical socks. Right? And it can happen. It happened in a decade. It happened in a decade. I'm not saying there was no wokeness before. I'm saying, but what we're seeing now, this just total imperviousness to reality, these violent reactions to accurate descriptions of reality, this is the new Canada. This is the new radical progressive Canada that was made by Justin Trudeau and is continued apace, actually, by Mark Carney. Will we hear Mark Carney comment on this? Mark Carney, he may not be as brilliant as the CBC sold us, but he's still not a complete idiot, right? He knows what's going on. Why isn't he commenting on the land claims that threaten to destroy British Columbia? Like literally economically destroy the province. It's because he's a progressive, is why. Here's Jim McMurtry, who was a teacher who was fired for telling the truth in Abbotsford, BC, I believe. Let's see this. So here he is at the same event. Let's take a look.
Show me the evidence.
Please share the stream, guys.
Who the child was.
I'm a newbie, but I think I got a handle on this
Tell me the name
now.
of a single child that was murdered in a residence school anywhere.
Tell me a
And I'm not something who doesn't know. I've written about 50 publications on it. I have a PhD from the University of Toronto. I study under Mark Carney's father, Robert Carney. Tell me you have evidence of a single murder. What I don't understand is the lack of moral courage in our country. If I'm wrong about something, I have the courage to say I'm wrong. Anyone wearing an orange shirt, you know you're wrong. You know you're wrong. There never were 215 bodies.
So they're
found in
blocking the
Kamloops.
sign, it
Start
looks
there.
like. They don't
Thing is, they don't care about reality. They care about the story. The story serves them, right? They don't care. Let's see. Well, actually, hold on. We got another one here too. We've got a. I want to show you one where there's a guy who's particularly deranged. This guy here, that guy right there. Let's take a look at this. Same event.
You're at your own personal agenda, it is a public institution. And guess what? You're fucking losing the battle. You have no business being here. It's a public institution. This is a university. This is a place of higher learning where people care about one another. Okay? Not about you. Respect, young man.
Listen, the language always too. This is a place where people care about one another. What, by lying to each other? Just telling each other lies? To pretend that they care about each other? I actually find it gross, this mentality, this suicidal empathy.
Show some respect. I'm 70 years old. I know a hell of a lot more than you do. Okay, you're older than you. Stand there yelling at someone when you don't know what the hell you're talking about. You don't know what you're talking about. No, you don't. Stop pushing people.
That's my son.
Yes, I'll get your sign.
Thank you. Thank you.
You do not.
So they stole his sign, of course, because that's just typical.
You don't have no clue. I was raised here. You can't tell me that's true. Did you grow up in the residential school? I went to school with natives. Oh, wow. So did I. And they were just in Philly.
Why can't you just listen to what I have to say?
Stop yelling. I'm listening. Go for it.
But they haven't found any evidence of any murdered child in any residential school. That's all. But where's the evidence then?
Why do you need, like, what do you need? Why do you need that?
Accuse people of murder without having evidence. That's an awful thing to do.
The guy is literally saying, why do you need evidence? I mean, this is the quality of mind that's coming out of universities, out of higher education. This is the quality of mind that's coming out of higher education in Canada. Why do you need evidence? I mean, it's shocking, isn't it? It's shocking. It's beyond shocking. I mean, this is a truly parasitized mind here. This is an idea pathogen. Why do you need evidence? Well, he doesn't. He just needs a story, right? He likes the story. So he's just going to go with that. That's what works in his bubble, right? And I'm sure at this school, that's what works there. That's how you just get through it easier, right? That's the path of least resistance.
What you're doing
it's an awful thing they did to the population of
these
Canadians.
teachers.
Fucking taking kids away from their families, putting them in a school is bad enough. That's fucking enough, and they need to be punished for that.
The school's right.
I know your obsession with bodies is fucking beyond me.
That's my job.
Good. Fuck you, don't deserve a job.
I mean, this can't be reasoned with, right? It's like woke Terminator. Right? It feels you can't reason with it. It feels no empathy. What's your obsession with bodies, he says. So, and this is so typical of the way these narratives go with the left, right? So they make an insane claim, then you demand evidence, and then they say, well, why do you need evidence? Well, I don't know, maybe because there was a gigantic moral panic in the country that continues, and it's all based on untruth. It's not real. It's based on a hoax. A hoax perpetrated really by the media. They're the ones who jumped on the ground penetrating radar, which doesn't prove anything. It tells you there's stuff underground. Geez, nobody ever knew there was things underground before. It doesn't tell you what it is. Right? It was really a hoax perpetrated by the media and then by leftist politicians in Canada. And then, of course, the academia jump. Of course, it's natural for academia, right? So yeah, this is what you get. This is the state of Canada now. It's embarrassing. This guy doesn't care. He cares about the story. He doesn't care about truth. And it's beyond cowardice. Really, I think it really is. When I say that, like woke mind virus, parasitized by mind virus, I'm not being facetious. I mean it. These people, they lose their agency, they lose their free will, and they just become slaves to an idea pathogen, their purpose now is to spread the idea pathogen in whatever this guy does. Right? He's probably already estranged from his family because of it. But every part of his life now, the most important part will be spreading the mind virus. Woke mind virus zombies. And I'm not being facetious when I say that. All right. Oh, all right. Anybody watching on YouTube, subscribe to my new channel, Radio Baloney News. That's where you will get all of the U.S. news and the world news and the meme reviews. You can see all the great videos down here. They will no longer be on the main channel, the one you're watching now. This is only for live streams and Canadian news. From now on, all of the world, U.S. meme reviews, all that kind of stuff, woke mind virus stuff will be on Radio Baloney News. It's a featured channel on my homepage. Please subscribe. YouTube ain't going to help me, so it's up to you. Don't let the gatekeepers decide. All right. What are you guys saying? I know you guys got a bunch to say about that. Let's see. JDL says JJ McCullough has a lot of good Canada videos. He does, actually. I like JJ. I think he's good. All right. Let's see. Let's see. Spambuff Fodder says, I expect there's going to be a lot of jingle mail when folks in BC can't get their mortgages renewed. Just mail their keys to the bank and get out of Dodge while they can. This catastrophe is being it's not getting the kind of attention it needs to get because it is an economic catastrophe for BC. Now, do I think that they will deal with this at some point? Yes, but it's going to take years. And BC will wither away on the vine while all this is happening. You can't have a province where property rights are up in the air. I mean, you just can't. Let's see. JDL says end tax exemptions at universities and colleges. 100%. Something has to be done. You can't keep having these universities and colleges pumping out a new red guard every year. You just can't. You end up with the Canada of today, which is literally insane. Ottawa James says, the commies make me mad. Yep. Let's see. Ottawa James says, lefties are so mean. They are. They've been trained to hate you is the thing, to despise you. Ottawa James says, Richie, good rant, bro. Well, thank you very much. When I get passionate about things, I tend to have a good rant. Don't have as many as I used to. I need to get back to those good old-fashioned rants again. JDL says they don't know history. Yep, and that's on purpose. Ottawa James says, dumb lefties. Well, those people are dumb, unfortunately. They didn't need to be. They were made that way. Rosie says, so mean, dumb too. Yep. It's a bad combination, mean and dumb. A lot of bad things have happened in history by groups of dumb, mean people. Rosie asks, 1BC, what does that mean? It's a new party in British Columbia. They're basically refugees from the Conservative Party of BC who were kicked out or just left once it became obvious that the Conservative Party of BC is actually not conservative. So they're an offshoot of that, and I think they're going to end up doing very well, actually, in displacing the Conservative Party of BC. Ottawa James says, Carney, not a leader. Carney's in it for himself. Rosie says, truth so overrated. Just eat your blue pills and move along. Yeah. Yeah. JDL says, you mean regressive? Well, they say progressive. We say regressive. Oh, JDL makes a great point here, a wonderful point. Says, hit that like. What an important point that is. Hit that like, everybody. Get your free good karma right now. Also, like the stream. Subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel wherever you are right now, whether you're on Rumble, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on X, whether you're on local. Subscribe right now. It's super important. Everybody's doing it. You don't want to be left out. Also, become a channel member. It's the best thing anybody can do for the channel. If you want to help the channel, become a channel member. It's super important. Everybody's doing it. All the celebrities are doing it now. That's what I heard. I heard that Taylor Swift became a member. She didn't, but that's what I heard when I said it myself. But everybody else is doing it. Super important. All right. I think it's time right now to do another ad read. Why not? We're 2 hours and 30 minutes in. Who's even going to stop me? Nobody. Let's do this right now. Looking for smarter ways to browse and enjoy your favorite content without ads and communism? Get the Perplexity Pro bundle with Rumble Premium for just $19.99 a month when you sign up before December 31st. Hey, that's normally a $29.99 value. Good thing I told you about it. With Rumble Premium, you'll get an ad-free and communism-free viewing experience across all your devices and access to exclusive premium content, no interruptions, no communist materials, just the videos and streams you love anytime, anywhere. Plus, Perplexity Pro boosts your productivity with unlimited research, unlimited uploads, anti-communist materials, exclusive member perks, and access to the latest and most advanced AI models for faster, smarter answers every single day, which is the best way. Save over 30% on this powerful bundle. Head to rumble.com/premium. That is rumble.com/premium before December 31st to sign up and unlock your premium experience. Beautiful, beautiful ad, a beautiful experience for everybody. It had plenty of anti-communist stuff in there, which they let me do. They let me do that in the ad reads, and I love it. I love them for that, and I think you guys appreciate it as well. Beautiful, beautiful ad read. Big, beautiful ad. Everybody likes it. Radio streamer, good to see you. Finally. I have arrived, my fellow degenerate basket of deplorables. Orange Hitler. Oops. Ouch. Orange Hitler following meat byproduct-free Balonians. Very well. Very well indeed. All right, now what's going on? Rosie says, Rumblad, Perplexity AI, and nice growls, enthusiastic, 10 out of 10. I do believe that's almost the most you can get out of 10, although I'm not a biologist. All right. JDL says the Cool Kids Club. It's true. Everybody knows that. All right. So what are we doing now? 2 hours and 34 minutes in. What do we have here? We did this. We did this. What's going on here? So what's going on here? Left is just so weird at this point. Solioneth says, remember when all the moderate, former never-Trumper, establishment, old GOP, sinecure talking heads condemned a bunch of young Republican men for telling Hitler jokes in a private jet? Now's a good time to watch because the mainstream left will not disavow this guy. They won't demand he step down or resign his race, ever. You'll see why leftists have won for decades and the right lost every issue. Well, Jay Jones, just in Virginia, won his race. And yeah, I mean, everybody knows that he was hoping in chat messages, hoping for the death of his opponent at that time, and also his opponent's children. That left rallied right behind him. No problem. Yeah, no, we're good with it. We're good with it. That is the left now, by the way. So let's see. Jack Schlossberg, a Democrat candidate for a House seat in New York and JFK's grandson, has been caught in a now deleted video performing a Sieg Heil salute. So let's take a look.
Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo.
So whether it's a joke or not, it actually shouldn't matter to the left, right? Remember Elon Musk? Remember Elon Musk waving to the crowd? That was, his coming out party, that he was actually a neo-Nazi or something. Remember? It doesn't matter to them. It shouldn't matter, right? They should just be like, oh my God, this guy's out. He won't be. They will support him. But don't care. It's rules for thee, not for me. Here's the thing. There's no principles involved, right? There's no principles involved. Just winning. It's just power. That's the modern left. All right, EU. What's going on with the EU? So Leo Kurse posted this. Said on the 10th anniversary of the Islamist attack at a Bataclan concert, which killed 130 innocents, let's remember how leftists canceled the lead singer of the band for telling the truth about what he saw. The left want Islam here to commit these attacks. They will fiercely defend Islamists and condemn their critics. The goal is always communist revolution. Anything that brings that closer by destabilizing the West is encouraged. I agree. So, and when did this happen? When they canceled the singer of the band who was there during the attack? 130 people killed, hundreds more maimed. So that was in 2016. So the very next year, well, really, it was still pretty fresh. French festivals ditch egos of death metal over singers' comments. This is called suicidal empathy, right? Jesse Hughes alleged he saw Muslims celebrating during Paris attacks and that Bataclan staff were involved in the assault. So, quote, I saw Muslims celebrating in the street during the attack. I saw it with my own eyes, in real time. How did they know what was going on? There must have been coordination. The singer apologized for the remarks in March, saying that his allegations were absurd and the result of trauma. You never apologize. He knows that they weren't absurd comments. You never apologize. It's just a sign of weakness. Of course, they still canceled him anyway. Doesn't matter. Your apologies actually mean nothing to them. It just makes them smile. They just like it, right? So, saw people celebrating. What did we see on October 7th a couple of years ago in 2023? What did we see while the bodies were still warm? What did we see across every Western city? What did you see in your city? Right? What did you see? You saw people out celebrating, people with Palestinian flags out celebrating while the bodies were still warm. And of course, Antifa was out there with them too. So it wasn't just them. And then you had just dopey, useful idiot leftists out there celebrating too. And well, the bodies were still warm. That's unambiguous, people. That's unambiguous. Before Israel had even had a chance to respond, they were out celebrating. Right? There's nothing ambiguous. There's nothing ambiguous about this. Right? We know why they were celebrating. Right? I don't find his comments, the singer from the Eagle of Death Metal, I don't find his comments absurd at all. In fact, it sounds like exactly what happens. So it's suicidal empathy. He never should have apologized. It didn't serve him anyway. Didn't matter. He'd already become the worst guy in the world to them. So there you go. That's how depressing. Actually. All right, we already saw that. Let's move on. Let's see. Eric Doherty. So here's something that you won't see on like CNN. This is from TikTok. I don't know who posted it. While the voicemail has been released, President Trump sent to the Osborne family following the passing of Ozzy. See, unless you're on X, right, and following the right accounts, you'd never know about this. This will get no airplay in any mainstream media. None. Maybe on Fox, probably not on them either. Let's take a look.
I mean, should we play the voicemail?
Yeah.
Not saying who it's from. Everyone will know.
Hi, Sharon. It's Donald Trump, and I just wanted to wish you the best and the family of great food. Ozzy was amazing. He was an amazing guy. I met him a few times, and I want to tell you, he was unique in every way and talented. So I just wanted to wish you the best, and it's a tough thing. I know how close you were, and whatever I can do, take care of yourself. Say hello to the family. Thanks. Bye.
Love him or hate him, he didn't have to call and leave a voicemail.
Listen, when it comes to politics, we know nobody comes out a winner.
So again, it's not something you will ever see. Like MSNBC is not going to be rushing that out, are they? Obviously not, because they've been they've done an amazing job of curating Trump's image, of just cutting out, beyond just simply, selectively editing clips like the Fine People hoax, but just anything that would humanize them, right? Remember in 2016 when, what was it? Not Jimmy Kimmel, the other one, Jimmy Fallon, touched at Trump's hair to make sure it was real, and he was just pilloried after that. How dare you humanize him? So this isn't just my opinion. They were saying that. They were saying that he had dared to humanize the human being, Donald Trump. So it's not just my opinion. That's their strategy. I mean, they say it openly. Like, no, you can't make him seem human. At some point, you think some of them would go, well, is he actually the monster? Or did we just create an image of a monster? Because I guess, at some point, everybody just believes their own bullshit, right? Including the media. All right. What's going on here? Hold on a second. I'm going to get back to the chat for a second, because we're actually getting close to the end of the content for tonight. Let's see. Rosie says, I love it when my map says aloud, you have arrived. It's a very nice, isn't it? It's the best time. Radio Streamer says 10 out of 10. Talking about the ad read now. Just agreeing with Rosie since I got distracted. I could feel the commie hate from across the house, though. Good. I was directing it directly at you. I'm glad you picked up on that. All right. All right. So we covered this, and we did Trump. Was there anything else from Trump here? Let's see. Oh, yes, I wanted to show this. So talking about the Epstein thing here, Vigilant Fox posted this. My feelings are that Trump has been the most investigated guy in history. If they really had something on him, it would have definitely come up before his second term, for certain, right? So I'm not believing any of the stuff the Democrats are pushing right now. Let's hear Bill O'Reilly say what he thinks. Hold on.
What we see today is a bunch of innuendo. It's hearsay. There isn't any direct backup for any allegation, because there aren't any allegations other than Trump may have been in a house where there are some girls. Right. Okay. So you have the lady in question, and I feel very bad for Miss Giuffre's family. He committed suicide. What a horrible thing. The whole thing is just awful. And that's right on Epstein. You have her saying under oath, Trump didn't do anything, and you have Maxwell. But here's the most important person you have, not under oath. Dershowitz. Dershowitz was Epstein's lawyer, and lawyer-client confidentiality ends with death. Dershowitz went on television today, said, I have all of the Epstein stuff, and there isn't anything. And I asked Epstein directly while I was representing him whether Donald Trump was involved in any kind of untoward activity. And Epstein said no. So now you have the three principal players in this case all saying the same thing. Yet the press is so irresponsible, so corrupt, so hateful, they will not even mention that. It's death by innuendo. That is what they are aiming for.
Stephen A., what you think?
I get that. And I think that what Bill said and just articulated is incredibly important. It is death by innuendo.
Yeah, I can't really add anything to that, right? It's kind of a lot of what we were talking about earlier when we were discussing this. Yeah, there's nothing really to add to that, right? It's just another attack. It's just another attack, another fake attack after 1,000 fake attacks, right? They're hoping that this is the millionth paper cut that'll finally do the trick and bring him down. I don't think it's going to work. Well, I mean, it's too late now anyways, the second term, right? So well, if they win Congress, will they try and impeach him again? Yeah, but will they be able to get the Senate? Yeah, it's unlikely, right? So it's just the same old kind of gross, cynical game, right? All right, here's something that's funny. Eric Doherty posted this. So here's RFK Jr. talking about Trump. And it's the kind of stuff that, yeah, okay, here's Fox News. It ain't getting it anywhere else, though.
One of the funniest moments in any cabinet meeting, President Trump had them bring in a full-size picture of himself with Putin. And when they were in Hawaii, and he's very tall, and Putin was very short. Putin came up to about here, and he said, "You know what I said to him?" He said, "I've had it up to here with you." Okay.
I remember that.
There are 8 presidents from Ohio. How many can you name?
Oh.
This is unfair because
that is a totally unfair question. I regret coming to this event.
One of the funniest.
Anyway, that is pretty funny. That is pretty funny. That probably confuses the left when they see that, trying to figure out how to criticize Trump because, of course, they hate Putin, so they should like it. But then it's Trump, so best to ignore it. That never happened. Let's see. All right. Let's go back to the chat for just a minute. Let's see. Rosie asks, how do they stay so walled off, the woke people? Yeah, well, it's just there's no incentive to not be walled off. It's just knowing an accurate description of reality only hurts them. There's no profit in that, right? It's because they're all in their bubbles, their peer groups, and nobody polices the woke like the woke, right? They police each other, and that's why they have such a narrow bandwidth ideologically. In terms of everything, just anything they can say, they have to be constantly censoring themselves. There's about 4 jokes that they can tell, and they all include Donald Trump or JD Vance. There's no profit in it for them. There's only danger, right? So because they police each other so strictly, so brutally, that if they differ on anything, they might have to be they will be having to find a new friend group, all new friends, maybe a new family overnight, right? Once they get denounced, that's kind of it. So there's an incentive to stay walled off. Trudeau Survivor says, I can't understand how anyone watches Chris Cuomo. He is a liar. He is at least, maybe he's repented a little bit. I don't know. He seems to be a bit more fair now than he was before, but again, you can't really trust him. Rosie makes a great point. Okay, so if they publicly prove 2020 election was stolen, will the other side try to vacate 2024? Only 2 terms? Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised, quite frankly. Uh, all right. Rosie says, Richie, I hope you vet your muses to make sure they are not woke. Nope. Breasts are the only thing that matters. All right. Let's move on. Live stream. This is the last one of the evening. So we're not doing 4 hours tonight, I don't think. Unless this I think we do have quite a bit in here, so maybe it will be 4 hours, but let's everybody subscribe to the channel and like the stream. It's very important everybody do it right now. Become a channel member. If anybody wants to help the stream become a channel member or gift a membership to somebody else in the chat, it's the most wonderful thing you can do, and you become the best person ever and be celebrated as such. The Ricky Gervais clip. So this is kind of an old one, but it's just like it never gets old. Let's take a look. It's kind of chopped up a little bit, but it's worth seeing. Let's take a look.
That's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people say they're offended, it's that just because you're offended, it doesn't mean you're right. It's offence is about feelings, and feelings are personal. Some people are offended by equality. So what? So you can't second guess people. If you try and please everyone, you'll please no one. With comedy as well, I think you've got to deal with taboos and contentious issues. And sometimes you deal in irony, and some people don't get that. But, you can't legislate against stupidity. Otherwise, you'll be doing nothing, because I'm not doing it for the 200 egos in the room. I'm doing it for the 200 million people watching around who aren't winning awards, who aren't millionaires. And freedom of speech is so important these days. I've reached the age now where I don't care anymore. It's a sin. To joke about all the bad things, that's a waste, because that's exactly what we should joke about. If you can laugh in the face of adversity, you're bulletproof. That's the thing about offence, isn't it? When people...
Yeah, that's just, everybody should watch that once a month, probably. Right? It's just good for you. Let's see. This is kind of scary. This is Canada here. But first, let's see. We often get testimonials in the chat of people who've liked the stream, and then they tell us about the positive effects of the good karma, the Radio Baloney good karma that they receive by liking the stream. Rosie's got one here. She says, I liked and subscribed, and no one made me attend a Taylor Swift concert. Very impressive. I mean, right there, that's the power of the Radio Baloney good karma. Right there. I wouldn't be left out. I mean, come on. In these troubled times, come on. You got to get it right now. So, let's watch this. Uber and taxi danger. So this is scary.
All the women and teens out there that take Ubers and taxis everywhere just was made aware of a new danger that's going on. You might want to listen up. So one of the new things now they're doing is as soon as you get in the vehicle, they will try to offer you a water. And a lot of times what they've done is they have taken a needle and they have injected the bottle with just a little bit of fentanyl or whatever it is they decide to use to try to make you lethargic or knock you out of some type. So due to this fact, I would advise you that when you get into a vehicle of any type that is not your own vehicle and that you don't know the person that you're getting in, do not take any food or any drink that they offer you, because nowadays, it's just not safe, and you don't know if they've laced it with something. And again, they can put it in with a needle. A lot of times now what they're saying is to be able to test it, and if somebody gives you want to take the water, I wouldn't, but if you did, squeeze the bottle. If water starts leaking out of it, that's a sure sign that they've already laced it with something. So my best advice is, ladies and teens, if you're getting into a vehicle and you don't know the person that is behind that wheel, do not take any food or drink from them. Anyway, this is my best advice, and I hope y'all take care and stay safe out there.
I don't know if that's a real cop or not. Let's take a look underneath. Is anybody saying anything? Chris J. Canada says, it will get worse. The people coming in are arriving from countries where women are property. Yet liberal women love it. There are sadder days ahead. Well, whether you live in Canada or the US or in Europe, there are millions of people that have been flooded in unvetted. So even in Canada, where it's legal immigration, most of these people are unvetted. The vast majority of them are really unvetted. There's not like criminal background checks or anything like that. They really have no idea. They know their names, but they don't know anything about these people because it's just too many. You have an immigration system that used to be, I think, envied by a lot of countries. We had a proper point system, so we're trying to bring in people that would actually, that could actually contribute. And that's all out the window with Trudeau. That went out the window with Trudeau. So just millions of people, and nobody really knows who the hell what they've done. But you might have their name, but are they even real names? That's the thing. The system was completely overwhelmed, so they just decided, I guess we just have to let everybody in. And this happened under Biden. This happened. It's still happening in Europe, in the UK. You got millions of people. You don't know who the hell they are or what they've done. So obviously, you're going to get increases in crime. Obviously, it's going to be appealing to criminals, especially if they're going to a country that is perceived as weak, weak and stupid, and with suicidal empathy, right? Where they feel that the punishment for crimes will be much less, or maybe not at all. In Canada, I mean, you can just bank on none at all, no punishment at all. In the UK, you can just bank on no punishment at all, right? So, I have no doubt that things like that are happening. This is a funny one, actually. Tried to steal the Trump flag, but crashed into the light pole. This is instant karma right here. Let's take a look.
He lost. Nice thing he didn't. He lost. Stupid asshole. All that hate. It's unfortunate that it happened, but why did you man, that is. Oh, and now you got the cops.
The universal law of what goes around comes around does not mean that there's a little invisible superhero named Captain Karma who flies around kicking people's asses who do bad things. It means the vibrations that you cast are handed back to you. And this was a beautiful display of what goes around comes around.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That's funny. That's just instant karma right now. And the guy's attitude changed very quickly once he realized, he can't just drive away anymore. That's a classic right there. Let's see. His teenage daughter got a text from a boy saying, "Send me a bra pic." This was her dad's response. You see, and the gun there, that really fills it out. I'm sure the kid got the message. That's a classic right there. This one, I think I actually have to save this for the Monday premium stream because I really want to play this one because I just like this one. This is really good. And it's a Toto song she's playing there. But we're going to have to save it from Monday for copyright reasons. So we'll save it for Monday. Let's see. Newsom's going to cry when he sees this. Well, let's take a look. What's going on here?
Nothing I dislike more than the politician that sits there and lies to you. And we all just sit there wrong. Nothing.
I love the JD Vance memes. It's hilarious. The left really doesn't understand it. The JD Vance memes, by the way. They have no idea that they're very confused by it. It's because they have no sense of humor. Let's see. Some old lady in the ENT waiting room just told me she likes my Pride shirt. It's Pink Floyd. Pink Floyd. I mean, that's funny. I guess just everybody assumes that everything is Pride now. So All right, let's see. Bro couldn't wait 3 seconds, tried to pass in the grass. This is from Desiree. Got smacked by the laws of physics. You know, it's just so dumb. I think like 99% of traffic accidents are just pure stupidity. Just utter and total stupidity.
Never meaning no harm.
You drive into the ditch. That's just bafflingly stupid. Bafflingly stupid. I know it's annoying being behind somebody in the fast lane, right? And they're going too slow. I know that's annoying, but like, how do you like? There are people who should not be driving. This person should not be driving. Fortunately, all that happened was that they, I'm sure, injured themselves. Uh, but this person should not be behind the wheel of a car. I mean, that is truly bafflingly stupid, is it not? Ugh. I hate other human beings. All right, students pull a prank on their teacher. This is funny. This is funny. It's a little rude, but let's take a look. Oh, all right, no sound on this. Let's see. Gonna erase the cat, but oh no, part of it's permanent marker. She is not amused. She is not amused. Must not have been teaching gender theory that day. Wrong day. And students pull a prank on the. It's funny. It's funny. I admire those students. They're the best of us. Let's see. Don't ask me how many times I've watched this. So I don't know. Is this AI? Let's take a look. I don't know. Is this AI? I mean, like the cat really goes fly. This feels like AI to me. So I guess so. This is night vision camera, so it's dark, so we can't see. Does he think that the cat went out the window there as well, and that freaked him out? I don't know. Is this AI though? Is it AI? Let's see. What's this one actually? Unexpected message from the mothership. Let's take a look. Oh, I can't do that. There we go. So there's the cat. Oh, yeah. I don't follow this account for AI videos. Yeah, it's AI. That one's AI. All right. That's definitely AI. I mean, they're getting so realistic, though. It's really freaky. Soon, I'm telling you, soon, like in 5 years, maybe less, actually, with the speed that this stuff is improving, you'll go to Netflix to watch. I won't, and actually, you guys probably won't either. But there will be a big market for just a Netflix AI. Make me an extra season of MASH. Say, well, nobody's going to do that. Who would do this? But I don't. Big Bang Theory. Make me a new season of Big Bang Theory, and I want Johnny Depp to be in it. And it will just, in 5 minutes, it'll just make that, and then there'll be people, and it'll be slop, but there will be people who will be happy with it. And they go, yeah. And then there'll be, I want to see Alien, but instead of Sigourney Weaver, I want Taylor Swift as a Ripley. And it'll make it, and those people will be happy with it. I genuinely believe that's what's going to happen. That's where this is going. The AI gets better and better. And maybe even, I mean, for comedies, I don't see it working ever, really. I think there's just too much mystery in comedy. But for, like, just like a thriller movie or something, I mean, it probably, AI will be able to write a script and just make a thing in 5 minutes. The probably be as good as most stuff that comes out of Hollywood now. Let's see what's going on here. So you guys tell me. Now, I know the answer to this, whether or not this is AI. I know. But I want you guys to tell me whether this is...
It's a total fabrication.
Or...
You're right. It's fact.
So let's watch. Okay. Let's watch it again.
Ready, set, go.
What's your verdict? Real or AI? See, on the last one, Radio Streamer says, oh, wait a second. Trudeau Survivor says AI is my vote. It was AI on that last one. Trudeau Survivor says AI is taking the joy out of videos. I agree. I'm not a big fan of it. I'm really not. Let's see. Rosie says, what's the second scream? I think it's because it was pitch black and he thought the cat flew out the window, I think. Maybe. I don't know. But in any case, it wasn't real. Rosie says, Justine Bateman has started a film festival for true video. No AI. I like that. I like that too. Let's see. Izzy says, I find it annoying at best for coding. But it's getting better at that too, right? Rosie says, it's a man, it's real. If it was a woman, AI. So Rosie says it's real. And let's see. Trudeau Survivor says, I'll go real. It's kind of too bizarre to be fake. Anybody else want to get in with your opinion on this? And then I will tell you whether it is...
It's a total fabrication.
Or...
You're right. It's fact.
I'll give it 10 more seconds, and then number one will reveal the truth. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Okay, I'm going to reveal it.
You're right. It's fact.
No, it wasn't fact.
It's a total fabrication.
It's a total fabrication. I pressed the wrong button first. Radio Streamer got it right. Fake. Yeah, this is AI too. It's getting weird, right? It's just getting really weird. Let's watch it one more time.
Ready, set, go.
So I think that the clue in this one is that when it starts out, when you start it right here, looks totally real. But then all of a sudden, hold on. All of a sudden, he's got this thing in his mouth. And I think that that's what does it. And him going along the floor is kind of weird. So for context, this video is AI generated and not a real recording, as indicated by a comment liked by the TikTok creator. Onions are toxic to dogs, potentially causing damage to red blood cells and serious illness like anemia. Well, I mean, people could still not know that, but yeah, it's not real. Not real. And it's just getting weird and kind of uncomfortable, isn't it? What does he win? Nothing. Nothing. Well, you get 2 free good karmas. How about that? There we go. Everybody loves that. This is good. It says, the reason I'm late for work.
Stop! That thing could probably jump over the fence. Stop! That thing could probably jump over the fence.
This has got to be real because that's dog's favorite thing. Every dog loves that. Like, it's the happiest thing in the world for them. Let's check it. I hope this isn't AI. I feel like it's not. Let's see. There's no note. So no, I feel like it's real. All right. Let's see what we're 3 hours and 10 minutes. Yeah, we're getting close to the end here, though. So what's this clown world? Bruh. So I don't know. What is that? She's standing there, but then there's that. So is that just somebody behind the? No, I mean, it doesn't. I don't know. It's creepy. I don't know what that means. I mean, I guess you could fake this pretty easily, though, right? So probably AI. Let's see. Dudes being dudes. Let's take a look.
Ja, los! Oh
Oh god, I gotta turn that off. That's making me dizzy. Ugh. That's gotta be real. Let's see. No community notes. Yeah, that's gotta be real. That's it, because that's exactly what I would have done. So let's see. Radio streamer says, how could you say no to that dog? Yeah, the one with the ball there. No, you'd have to. I'd just be there all afternoon. Let's see. Radio streamer, his what does he win? Karma, just karma. No free car, not even a Hot Wheels, nothing. Just karma. Well, karma's even better though. It's the most important thing. Let's see. All right. Newsom just posted this to try to own JD Vance. They really don't understand this game, do they? The left. They don't get it. I think it's because they're so humorless. Is it just me, or does this make JD look super cool? Well, it's just hilarious is the thing. It's just funny, right? It's just funny. No. We can't play the music. Maybe I'll save this one for Monday as well, and we'll play it with the music. I think it's just when you're not like obsessively ideological, right? You have room for stuff like this in your brain without freaking out, right? It is just funny. And JD himself thinks it's funny. So they're not owning anybody with this. I mean, the right came up with this meme. Oh. Anyway, it's a good one. Let's see. What's going on here? Joe Rogan drops a bombshell theory about why Barack Obama pushed the Fine People hoax to try and get Kamala Harris elected. And it was so old already, the Fine People hoax. It shows you just how bankrupt they are, just how intellectually bankrupt they are, as well as spiritually bankrupt. But let's take a look.
Using that during Kamala Harris's campaign, I was like, that's great. You know what he said.
Yeah.
You must know.
They cut it up.
But why would you sacrifice what's so valuable is like your stature and your integrity? Why would you sacrifice that for someone who just probably wasn't going to win anyway?
Right. I mean, I don't
know
know if it's money or if it's some sort of oath or if it's intentional, whatever, but like that stuff's so dangerous. I really like that shortening of like what someone said, taking it out of context.
I think there's also the consequences of people going to trial for that Russiagate stuff, because I think that Russiagate collusion hoax that they perpetrated on mainstream media for years, and a lot of people are really uncomfortable with even saying it was a hoax. No, it was a hoax, ladies and gentlemen. It was a hoax, and a lot of people coordinated that hoax, and there was a lot of people involved, and I think they're super sketched out about Trump being president again and possibly digging into that stuff, and he's doing that now.
Yeah.
And you're finding real evidence that the people that you would think the intelligence agencies, you think, what are they here for? They're here to make America safe and protect us from problems. But it seems like they also meddle.
Yeah.
And not just meddle, but like completely try to sabotage someone and paint them out in a way that's completely inaccurate, knowingly, willingly, with taxpayer dollars funding it all.
For the greater good. For their
Yeah.
greater good.
Bro, I might say very fine people too if I was doing that. I might say whatever, he's a fucking Nazi.
Let's not. Yeah, that's,
He's Hitler.
Yeah.
I would say whatever the fuck, keep him out of office.
Well, the thing is, Obama was neck deep in the Russia collusion hoax, right? Like he's the one. He's the one who brought in, you know, the intelligence community and told them, use the Steele dossier, get on top of this, do this, frame it this way. Basically, frame Trump. So yeah, it's not surprising he'd just say anything, right, to prevent Trump from getting back in power. All right. Let's see. James Dugan, how you doing? He says, JD Couch funny. It is funny is the thing. Radio Streamer here, I think, explains it better than I did. He says, it's so silly we can have a laugh on our side, even at our own expense, a sign of emotional maturity. Yes, we don't get hysterical. That's the thing. We don't. So we can have a laugh. Rosie says, hoax sounds juvenile. Hopefully they will start using the actual criminal term soon. Well, I don't think it sounds juvenile. I mean, I think that's an apt description. It was a hoax, right? And it looks like there was, you know, absolutely criminal aspects to it, such as contempt of Congress, which are real crimes, which they do need to go after. And they are, in fact. With Comey, it looks like they're going to be going after Brennan as well. So, let's see. All right, what else we got? Do we have anything else, or are we done? We're 3 hours and 17 minutes. Yeah, that's it. All right. I want to say first, before we go, to anybody watching on YouTube, the new channel is Radio Baloney News. That's where all of the U.S. news, world news, meme reviews, which are very popular over there, by the way, that they're all on Radio Baloney News now. It's the featured channel on the homepage of this channel, which is the original Radio Baloney channel. And it's only for live streams and Canadian news now. The one you're watching now, everything else is going over here, Radio Baloney News. So I did have one person in the comments, I think last week, who said, you know, we love your channel, but we're not interested in Canadian news. You know, there's no U.S. news or world news. And I said, well, it is. There is. It's over on Radio Baloney News now. It's different. It's got a different icon. And so they went over, and now they are plugged in to the good stuff once again. So, yeah, please help me out with that, because, you know, the YouTube algorithm ain't going to. The YouTube algorithm is basically just a purple-haired gremlin that hates me and hates you, right? So don't let them win. Everything is just the same on Rumble. All the videos just go into the same thing on Rumble. All right. So it's nice and easy over there. You should go over to, if you're, you know, also Rumble is a great place to watch this. All of the chat you see on the screen, that's all the Rumble chat. There's very little that happens over on the YouTube side. For some reason, we have some very fine, very good people, fine people over in the YouTube chat. But really the action's happening over on Rumble. So that's the best place to watch. If you want to be involved and in the chat and interacting, Rumble's the place to be. I want to thank everybody who showed up tonight and hung in there for 3 hours and 20 minutes. And yeah. And what was I going next? Yeah, without you guys, this would be pointless. Obviously, it would be depressing and boring. So thanks for showing up, you guys. I think you guys are in pretty fine form tonight, I must say, if I do say so myself. So thanks for showing up again. Have a great weekend. I'll see everybody on Sunday night, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern. And of course, we will be doing the premium stream at 6 o'clock on Monday as well. More Tales of the Gold Monkey, which everybody has been wanting. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a great weekend.